Georgia. The Eastern Division champion St. Louis Cardinals, the Western Division champion Atlanta Braves. Last night at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals going up 2-0 as they came from behind to win it. Final score 4-3. Big man out of the pen all season, Bruce Sutter with 36 saves, came out of the pen last night to pick up the victory. And with the game tied in the bottom of the ninth inning, Ken Oberkfell came up to bat with David Green at second base and drove him in with this drive to center as the Cardinals won it. We're in Atlanta, finally, 2 days late, and the place packed. More than 50,000 to look on. As we mentioned in the cut-in just moments ago, there is a threat of rain. It has not rained today, however. In Atlanta, the field is in very good shape. The teams took batting practice and infield, but the ground crew has the tarp at the ready in the pregame festivities just in case. So hopefully tonight we'll get it in without any delays. The first time the playoffs have been in Atlanta since 1969. Hello again, everyone. I'm Al Michaels, and the task is very, very simple now for the Braves, who are attempting to become the second team in history to erase a 2-0 deficit. It had never been done. No team had ever been down 2-0 in either of the league championship series and come from behind to win until just a couple of hours ago when the Milwaukee Brewers defeated the California Angels to win the American League Championship. So the Braves will try to do it, and it's also very interesting when you think about it. The Angels won the first 2 games of that series at home. Then the Brewers went home to win 3 there. Meanwhile, in this series, the Cardinals winning twice at home. So the home team has won all 7 games thus far in both championship series. As far as the Cardinals are concerned, despite playing on the road, you really have to like their chances because their pitching rotation is well set up. They'll go with Joaquin Andujar tonight. He was the National League's pitcher of the month in September. He was their hottest pitcher down the stretch, and he, of course, pitched very well in the game that was rained out on Wednesday in St. Louis. And they also have Bob Forsch ready if Whitey Herzog wants to use him tomorrow, or if necessary, in a 5th game to determine it all on Friday. Last night, of course, just a second guesser's delight. A great ball game. Final score won by the Cardinals 4-3. And a couple of key situations, of course, developed last night. Number 1, removing Phil Niekro after going 6 innings. And number 2, on Joe Torre's part, was not walking Ken Oberkfell with first base open and 1 out in the 9th inning. On those subjects, Howard Cosell talked with Torre before tonight's game.
Joe, for our viewers, a review of yesterday's moves. First, why take out Niekro?
Well, Howard, we had a 1-run lead in the top half of the 7th inning. What I was trying to do is get more runs. We had first and second and 1 man out, and I just felt it was about time to try to get some more runs, especially with a well-rested Garber in the bullpen and a situation where Nuxie had 2 days rest, and he had pitched 6 innings, and he had gotten hit a little bit hard in the 6th inning. So I felt things were going in my direction at that time.
2. Why pitch to Oberkfell? We had shown a graphic that showed Oberkfell's past success against Garber. You know all about that. Why pitch to him with the open base?
Well, I've got the situation right now. I got to make a choice. Do I want to pitch to Oberkfell or I want to pitch to Hernandez? And to me, Hernandez pitching with no bases open, I'd much rather pitch to Obi in that situation. Even though he had been successful with Garber, Garber in a situation with a base open has been my best pitcher, where he knows how to pitch around somebody, knows how to try to let the hitter get himself out. But in that stage of the game, it just didn't work out for us. He gave him a pitch he could hit, and it beat us. So I'd do the same thing right now if I had an opportunity to, and I hope I do.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Sutter up next?
Sutter was up next, and Dane Orge was, in all likelihood, the pinch hitter. And it was 1 out. If I could take it for granted that Orge is going to into a double play, then it's fine. But I just can't take that for granted.
So you were looking ahead to Keith. Tom Lasorda has observed that while you've tried to get everything you could out of your ball club, he feels the overriding problem is the absence of a left-handed pitcher. Set against Montreal, against Philadelphia, you wouldn't be in this position. What's your view of that?
Well, we knew coming in what our problem was. If we had a left-hander that we felt could get left-handers out, he'd have been on this ball club. But when we had a choice to make of taking pitches, we decided to take the 9 best pitches we had. And whether we had a left-hander that we had all year on the ball club or not, it would have still been Garber or Bedrosian against Obergefell and the likes of an Orge and Hernandez. So this winter we'll definitely be searching for a left-hander because I feel that'll make us give us a lot better balance in the bullpen.
You haven't quit.
Heck no. Are you kidding? We've won 3 in a row before. We're just going to have to win one at a time. And, I feel once we get past tomorrow, we win today and tomorrow, now it's in our corner because their 2 best pitchers will be by the boards.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, Howard.
So game 3 coming up from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. The Cardinals against the Braves. In a moment, Howard's back with Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda.
My little girl's inside. I couldn't reach her.
We'll get her out. Smoke is a killer. Most home fire deaths are caused by smoke and gases, not flames. Learn to stay low where the air is better, like firefighters do. Crawling could save your life.
Angela!
Learn how to prevent home fires and survive in an emergency in the Fire Safety Book, free from participating Shell dealers. Come to Shell for answers.
If your confidence took a beating last winter,
Confidence, we installed it at Sears.
now America's best-selling replacement battery, the Sears Die Hard, is only $54.99 with trade-in. You save $15 and save 25% on weatherwise all-season radios, as low as $44.99 with a limited warranty for 42,000 miles.
At Sears Tire and Auto Centers, we give you more than a good deal. We install confidence. You can count on Sears.
Hello again, everyone. I'm back with Dodger manager Tom Lasorda. Tom, when I had that talk with Joe Torre, the Brewers had not yet clinched. Now they have. 2 down. Do you think that the Braves will be inspired by that Brewer comeback?
I'm sure they will, Howard. And naturally, they have their backs against the wall. We did the same thing in the divisional play last year when we were 2 down against Houston, and we come back and beat them 3 in a row. They're in their own ballpark. They're playing in front of their fans. They've got Rick Camp going for them. He's a sinker ball pitcher, and if he gets the ball down, he's going to be tough to beat. On the other hand, the St. Louis Cardinals, without the turf, that will not be an asset to them, because playing on natural ground, they will not get the ground ball base hits that they normally get. So the offense of the Atlanta Braves must get started tonight in their own ballpark.
Okay. Now, I also discussed with Joe Torre your statement about the absence of left-handed pitching, as you saw and heard. You still feel that's the key element in the series, working against the Braves?
Absolutely. You need a left-hand pitcher to stop this ball club either at the start or at the end, because they do have 4 left-hand hitters that are going to play every ball game.
Thank you very much, Thomas. When this series began, Whitey Herzog told all of you that he came into St. Louis and he had to tear up the ball club, build it up all over again, that the key acquisition, as I fight to be heard against the roar of the crowd, was catcher Darrell Porter, who enabled him to trade Simmons and Kennedy for other desired strengths. Now, Darrell Porter has become one of the hitting heroes of this series, an absolute stick-out. Yet he's a young man who's gone through huge personal travail, and he's not hesitant in talking about it, because, believe it or not, ball players are human too, smack out of human life. Thus my talk with Darrell. You went through a very great deal to come back in your personal life, much personal travail. And you've seen other cases in baseball of people afflicted with alcoholism. Now, is the problem epidemic in baseball?
Yeah, I think we've got a problem there, but you know, they talk a lot about cocaine and drugs like that in football and basketball, and I've really never seen that much in baseball, even when I was doing a lot of it myself. I think we've got a problem more with alcohol than anything, more with alcohol, and probably there's some amphetamines taken in baseball quite frequently.
Do you think it's hurting the game very much, notably on the part of performance of players?
Well, I think it definitely takes its toll. There's no question about that. Guys just can't play as long. They just, I think, I played fairly well when I was doing those things, but now I'm not doing quite as well. And to say that I don't know that the alcohol and the drugs that I took didn't take something away from me. Maybe it took a couple years off my career, but I know it's ended a lot of people's career. But more than that, it's destroying people as human beings, and it's turning them into something, into phony human beings, and people begin living in unrealistic worlds.
You think Major League Baseball is acutely aware of the problem and doing enough by way of helping with programs and the rest to nullify this, at least to improve it?
I don't know. It seems to me like they're probably concerned about it, but it doesn't seem like a whole lot's being done, and especially now that the focus is more on the football players and the basketball players, you just don't hear that much people talking about the baseball situation that much. I don't know that they're doing enough. I think that probably something else could be done, but then that's sticky. I mean, how do you, who's to say what's right, and who's to say who's got a problem? The only person that can tell you that they got a problem is that person themselves, and I would say it's just real difficult to do anything about it.
You jeopardize your own future in the big leagues by talking with me this candidly.
I jeopardize my future? Well, if I do, then that's fine. I'm just speaking from my heart, and that's how I feel. What more can I say?
You're a heck of a guy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Howard.
We'll be back in just a moment with highlights of the stunning Milwaukee comeback against the California Angels.
In 1935, Easterners came by the busload to discover the West, and along with it, Levi's 501 jeans, the original button-fly, shrink-to-fit cowboy blue jeans. Modern travel has changed a bit since then, but the Levi's 501 jeans that won the West still shrink to form that uniquely personal relationship with the wearer, like no other jeans you'll ever own. Levi's 501s, the original blue jeans.
How did your muffler sound before you came to Kmart K-Care?
Rum, rum. I don't know how a muffler sounds.
Sound like a motorcycle? It isn't. It's my car.
Quiet your noisemaker now with the Arrestor Plus at a net installed price of $18.88 after you receive a $5 mail-in rebate.
Let Kmart take care of you.
It was thick.
Just smooth.
California scored first in the top of the first when Fred Lynn's single drove home Brian Downing, who had led off with a double. In the bottom of the first, Milwaukee drew even thanks to Paul Molitor, who led off with this hustling double, then scored on an infield grounder and a sacrifice fly. California regained the lead in the third inning, and once again it was Fred Lynn with a single who drove home the run. The Angels made it 3-1 on the fourth. The run set up when Cecil Cooper, fielding Bobby Gritch's bunt, tagged Gritch with his glove while the ball was in his bare hand. Gritch was ruled safe. Doug DeCinces moved to third. And then Bob Boone's squeeze bunt, so neatly placed the Brewers had no play at home, brought DeCinces in. But Milwaukee battled back. In the bottom of the fourth, Ben Ogilvy cut California's lead to 3-2 with this home run. And in the top of the fifth, Charlie Moore kept the score 3-2, scooping up Lynn's third single and firing a perfect throw to third base, cutting down Reggie Jackson. Don Baylor's single that followed was wasted. Then in the seventh inning, Cecil Cooper burst out of a terrible slump with a bases-loaded two-out single that drove home 2 runs and lifted the Brewers toward the first pennant in their brief history. Peter Ladd preserved the victory in the ninth inning, and the Brewers bubbled over. Dick Schaap, ABC Sports.
Back in Atlanta, the pitching matchup tonight. Loosening up in the Cardinal bullpen. Joaquin Andujar, 15-10. The second best earned run average in the National League this season. And he'll be opposed by the refugee from the bullpen, Rick Camp. 2 under 500 at 11-13. And And we'll be right back for Game 3 of the National League Championship Series, the Cardinals and the Braves, after this ABC News Brief and a word from our local stations.
A sports update brought to you by Michelob Light Beer. Now, from ABC News in New York, Dick Schaap.
Good evening. The Milwaukee Brewers are the American League champions because Cecil Cooper is too good a hitter to fail 3 times in a row. Cooper had a chance to be a hero in the 3rd inning and struck out. Another chance to be a hero in the 5th inning and again struck out. And then, in the 7th inning, became a hero, delivering a 2-out bases-loaded single that wiped out a 3-2 California lead and sent the Brewers into their first World Series. Milwaukee's victory, its 3rd straight after 2 defeats. Now this.
Hey, how'd you guys do it?
Just concentrated on the fundamentals. The Michelob Light and who's buying.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
In the pro football strike, a small sign of progress. A private meeting between Ed Garvey of the union and Jack Donlin representing management. Not a negotiating session, but a step toward resuming negotiations, perhaps with a mediator present. More later on the ABC News Weekend Report.
Tomorrow, Burt Reynolds, Jill Clayburgh, and Candice Bergen starting over.
A very important message from Burger King.
At this time, we'd like to offer our sympathy to McDonald's and Wendy's. You see, the Whopper beat the Big Mac for best taste overall among consumers of both burgers. In a similar test, we beat Wendy's single. Now that may have surprised McDonald's and Wendy's. Well, so we just wanted to say, it's okay, guys. Winning isn't everything, but it sure is fun.
Aren't you hungry for Burger King now?
Can't believe this. I hate this car. Well, maybe you better call home.
Leave it, Dick. He looked 112.
Maybe her brother will come.
Terrific. They're wonderful. Hold on, Doris. There's another call. Hello?
Hi, Mom. He broke down.
Where are you?
When you have call waiting, really important calls will always get through.
My dad's coming. Oh, good.
Get call waiting. It's for you. To order, call this number.
I see by your job application you've scored 6 million on the video game Munchman.
Yeah?
And I see you shot down 2 billion aliens from the planet Mongo.
Yeah.
You are good at computer games. So what do you know about computers?
If you're going to spend your time playing video games, why not play them on something that can also teach you about computing? Get a Commodore VIC-20. It's tough to grow up in a computer age without learning about computers.
Weekend Action News tonight at 11.
Game 3 of the National League Championship Series from Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium, Atlanta, Georgia. The St. Louis Cardinals against the Atlanta Braves. And tonight's game is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to take charge of a new Chevrolet car or truck at your Chevrolet dealers now. And by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Stick with us, gang, because the weather front just follows us. It has started to sprinkle here in Atlanta, but they have not covered the field. And right now the crowd is rising at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
Where's that
Charlie
box?
McCoy
Where's
is
that
ready
box?
to sing our national anthem. Charlie would sing it. He had other ideas. Good rendition. So we're ready, weather permitting. And right now we're all right, despite some sprinkles. Coming up, Game 3, St. Louis and Atlanta.
Bob and Sandy Davis needed 2 incomes to afford the home they wanted. Then tragedy struck.
Allstate update. Joint mortgage protection.
Sandy died before the mortgage was paid. Allstate Life's joint mortgage protection could have helped pay off their mortgage if either of them died for less than the price of 2 policies, but the Davises didn't have it. If you both work, talk to an Allstate agent. For life, home, and auto, put yourself in good hands.
If you want to know just where you stand on all your family insurance, check with State Farm.
I'm State Farm Agent Terry Kropp. Today's changing economy is affecting a lot of people's protection. That's why families and individuals alike feel so reassured when they get the State Farm Family Insurance Checkup. It doesn't cost anything, and we'll go over your life, health, home, and car insurance. Ask a State Farm agent about the Family Insurance Checkup.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's your chance to get the official 1982 World Series program, a collector's item commemorating the 79th Fall Classic. Send check or money order for $4 to World Series program, Post Office Box 9800T, St. Paul, Minnesota 55198. Please make checks payable to World Series program. That's World Series program, Box 9800T, St. Paul, Minnesota. Allow 8 weeks for delivery. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Throwing out the first ball tonight, Hall of Famer Luke Appling. He's the Braves' roving batting instructor. They really ought to let him fungo the ball out. At the age of 75, he played in that all-time old-timers game earlier this summer in Washington, D.C., and at the age of 75, he homered.
To the opposite field, of course. All right, let's go to the Cardinals starting lineup. Leading off, switch hitting Tommy Hurd. Then Kenny Urbichfeld. And after him, Lonnie Smith, the offensively versatile one. Keith Hernandez cleaning up. Then comes Darrell Porter. And then big George Hendrick. And after him, the speedster Willie McGee. Then the magician in the field, Ozzie Smith, who can be a magician with the bat. And finally, Joaquin Andujar, the defense out.
And before the defense takes the field, that ritual normally performed by Chief Nakahoma. Levi Walker, who's been the Braves team mascot here for several seasons, retreating to his teepee in left field, and here come the Braves. The crowd is particularly vocal because, remember, the Braves have not been home since they clinched the Western Division Championship. They spent the last week of the regular season in California. Then they went right to St. Louis. So they're back in town for the first time in 2 weeks. Chris Chambliss at first base for Atlanta. The Braves second baseman, Len Hubbard. And at shortstop, teaming with Hubbard for the most double plays in the National League this season, Rafael Ramirez, with Bob Horner, who missed 2 weeks at the end of the regular season at third base. He's been in the lineup for all of the games in the playoffs. Jerry Royster, very versatile in left field. The center fielder is Dale Murphy. He's still out in center, but he drops to number 6 in the batting order tonight. And around in right is Claudell Washington, who they have moved from the leadoff spot to number 3. Bruce Benedict should have an easier time of it tonight. He doesn't have to worry about a knuckleball. And on the mound is Rick Camp. Camp pitching better than that record would indicate during the regular season. Started the 1982 regular season in the bullpen, but they had Garber and they brought along Bedrosian and needed some help in the rotation. And so it was Camp who got the call. Now here at Atlanta, 330 down the lines, 402 to straightaway center, and not nearly as deep in the gaps here as in St. Louis. And for some reason over the years, despite even heavy air, as is the case on a night like tonight, balls just seem to rocket out of this ballpark. Harry Wendelstadt umpiring his 20th playoff game back of the plate with Bruce Fremming at first, Dutch Rennert at second, Paul Runge at third, Billy Williams down the line in left, And Bob Engel, who worked the plate in St. Louis last night, is out in right field. Andujar, very hot at the end, and Camp at the other extreme. Rick last pitching last Sunday in a game the Braves needed to win to wrap up the West. He's pitched well in this ballpark. He could not win last Sunday at San Diego, but the Braves were able to capture the title anyway when the Giants beat the Dodgers on Joe Morgan's home run. Tommy Hurd to lead things off. Ken Oberkfell and Lonnie Smith to follow. So the Milwaukee Brewers celebrating and then just waiting around now. They're going to the World Series, and we'll find out about the Cardinals tonight. A win and they go. A loss, and we're here tomorrow for game number 4. Tommy Herb, 266 during the regular season. Rick Camp ready, and it's a strike. Camp completing 3 of 21 starts this year. Not a particularly impressive walk to strikeout ratio. Walking 52, striking out 68. 1-1 to count.
Joe Torre decided to change the lineup a little bit tonight. He's dropped Murphy down into the 6th spot, moved Washington to the 3rd spot, and Horner moved into the 4th spot. So he's figuring he might be able to get some more runs this way.
Shot foul. That's been the Braves' problem. You go back even to the rained-out game. In Game 1, they scored 1 run in 5 innings. 4 shut them out in the official Game 1 the next night. And then we were rained out Friday. And last night, Atlanta scoring 3 runs, but only 6 hits. 1-2 the count on her.
Camp, his strong points is a sinker ball. He's got to keep the ball down, and it's a definite help to him with the natural grass. Slows the ball down. It doesn't go through the infield as quick as it does on the turf.
Looked like a platoon going after that ball into the corner back of first base. They got a lot of security here tonight.
Camp loves this ballpark. He's 22-10 here on the road, 12-18. Vast difference.
1-2 pitch to Tommy Hurd. Grounded the other way down to Horner. Over to Chambliss, 1 gone. Ken Oberkfell coming up. Go back to last night. And this created a mini celebration in St. Louis. Here it was. 1 out. Garber checking the runner at second. David Green. And then on an 0-1 pitch, driven to center field. It looked like Butler was able to get there in time, reaching up, couldn't haul it in. Game-winning hit. 4-3 Cards, 2-0 series lead. Whitey Herzog, who watched his playoff teams in Kansas City lose 3 straight to the Yankees, trying to come out on the other end. The Cardinals, first postseason play for them as you look at Joe Torre since '68. First time they've ever been in the divisional playoffs. Braves in postseason play for the first time in 13 years. Grounded to the right side. An easy close to Hubbard. 2 gone. So that would indicate initially, Tommy talking about keeping the ball down. The first 2 balls on the ground. And he's worked well to her and Oberkfell as he faces Lonnie Smith now. Lonnie 2 for 7 in the championship series. Wound up 4th in the league in hitting this year. Al Oliver was the batting champ. Then came Bill Madlock, Leon Durham, and Smith was 4th. Strike on the corner. 0-1.
You'd have to evaluate Lonnie Smith as one of the finest offensive players in the National League. With a high batting average and the way he runs, he gets on base a lot of times.
1-1 to count. Defensively, he's got great speed. He'll get to a lot of balls, but has the habit of falling down or misplaying balls in left field. That's been the case throughout his career, which started with the Philadelphia Phillies. 2-1. tonight. It was Lonnie who was removed when they made the change in left field, making the double switch when they brought in Suter. Put David Green out there, and Green was the man who scored the winning run. 2 out, bases empty, and the 2-1 pitch to Smith. 5-3. 3-1.
The intention of the Cardinal batters will be to make Rick Kemp bring the ball up where it doesn't have the tendency to sink.
Down to Ramirez, and he gets him on 3 ground balls. Cardinals out in order after a half. It's St. Louis nothing, and Atlanta coming up.
We are USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge by launching 1983 with the most exciting offer in automotive history. Buy or order any new Chevy Chevette. Citation, full-size C10 pickup, love truck, or standard S10 pickup by November 15th, and get a round-trip ticket for 2 wherever Eastern Airlines flies. In the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Bermuda, Bahamas, or the Caribbean. Tickets good for a full year. There's never been an offer like it before.
A very, very big message for grown-ups.
Do I look 20% smaller to you? I must to McDonald's. When I order a regular burger at McDonald's, they make it with 20% less meat than Burger King. Unbelievable. Luckily, I know a perfect way to show McDonald's how I feel. I go to Burger King.
Aren't you hungry for Burger King now?
The revised Braves batting order leading off Rafael Ramirez, the shortstop. Then Jerry Royster, the left fielder. Batting third today, Claudel Washington, right field. Bob Horner, the big home run man, batting fourth. Chris Chambliss, the steady one, batting fifth. Dropped to sixth. He's been a slump. Dale Murphy. And then Glenn Hubbard after him. Bruce Benedict, the catcher, and finally Rick Camp, the pitcher.
Cardinals defensively, the infield, solid. Hernandez, Herr, Smith, Oberkfell. Outfield, Fast, Smith, McGee, Hendrick, Darrell Porter back of the plate. And Joaquin Andujar on the mound. He went 5 innings Wednesday, game 1, but all the stats and the result washed away by the rain. As you look at his seasonal record there, as you can see, walking very few, 50, striking out fewer per 9 innings than he would have earlier in his career, and yet the other day we had him consistently timed up in the 90s with his fastball. Going very hard on Wednesday, the Braves owner back in his lair.
Yes, the flamboyant one.
Hoping that, as the judicial term goes, a change of venue will make the difference. Is that correct, Barrister?
Not too shabby, Al.
Can you give me a degree?
What his team must do tonight is get to that man early. Build a protective lead for Camp. Because Camp can keep them hitting on the ground with that sinker for only so many innings. Then the ball begins to go up, and Mr. Camp begins to get shelled. At least that's been his history.
Rafael Ramirez, who had hit second in the first 2 games of the series, moving up in the order tonight. He's 1 for 8 in the series. And facing Andujar, who in his last 8 starts during the regular season allowed 6 earned runs. Fastball for a strike. 0-1. Ken Oberkfell, edge of the grass at third. Ramirez could lay one down.
Joaquin's very familiar with Ramirez. He pitches against him in the Winter League in the Dominican Republic.
1-1 the count. Ramirez providing decent offense for the Braves this season and some surprising power. 10 home runs.
Andujar is the type of pitcher that relies on a good hard fastball and a good hard curveball.
The ladder right there for a strike, and the count 1-2.
He gets the ball over the plate, he's going to be very, very tough. He gets hurt only when he gets behind the hitters, and then he lets up to get the ball over the plate, and that's when he gets hit.
Pitch sharply right back through the middle for a base hit. So the Braves come home and start things with a single in the bottom of the first inning. On a 1-2 pitch. Right down the middle of the plate. And Andujar couldn't glove it. Base hit.
A lot of times, when a manager loses a couple of games like this, he'll try a different approach with his offensive attack, particularly in a case like this. The guy leads off the inning. He may try to steal or try to hit and run at this particular time. He may try to do something different to get his offense going.
Got to try something.
Ramirez with 27 steals this season. He was caught 14 times.
Royster makes contact. He's a good hit-and-run man, and this would be the ideal situation.
Andujar, as he was prone to do the other day, firing to first base.
Joe's got to get something stirring. His 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the lineup were a combined 1 for 21 through the first 2 games.
Fouled away. Fastball, he had that one by him, and Jerry swinging late. 0-1.
Look at that.
And part of the reason there for the shuffle.
No runs batted in, no runs scored among the 3 of them.
No balls, 1 strike to count. Back in hand first. Those figures would be even more dismal had you counted the rainout. And again, a very close play. Bruce Fremming, the umpire at first base.
He's a tough cookie, that Bruce Fremming. Still a lot like Don Nottingham. You remember the butterball fullback of yesteryear in the NFL?
Well, that was close at first base.
It really was.
Going for the outside of the bag and getting it. And again. So the crowd, as it was prone to do last night in St. Louis when Garber kept throwing over to first with McGee running, responds in kind. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike to count. No score in the bottom of the first inning. Ramirez has led off with a single.
Andujar has a quick move to first base, and he throws over quite frequently to compensate for the fact that he's got kind of a big kick going to the plate.
Grounded left side, steered by Oberkfell to her 1 and back to Hernandez for a double play.
There's the strength of the Cardinals again, that good defensive play, turning it into a double play.
Watch again, Royster hitting it sharply, but Oberkfell ranging to his left to one hand. And a 5-4-3 on the pivot from Herb, and there are 2 away.
They don't hit into them, and they're adept at executing.
Waddell Washington. Washington facing Andujar in the rained-out game, doubled Wednesday and came in to score what was the only run of that game. 1 ball, no strikes to count on Claudel, dropping from 1 to 3 in the order.
That was Joe Torre's idea, that Washington was hitting the ball good by comparison to Murphy, and he got Murphy out of the number 3 spot for that reason.
And Washington has frequently stated publicly that he never liked batting first and preferred batting third, which he thinks is best suited for him.
The 2-0 to Washington, a half swing, it's a strike. And the count is 2-1. Look at last night's Cardinals starter, John Stuper. He just watched his teammate bring one up at 94 miles per hour.
That's where they're going to try to pitch Washington, and try to keep the ball inside and then try to keep the ball up high on him.
Fouled back, 2-2. Washington, he had playoff experience going back to the A's. He appeared with Oakland in the 74 American League playoffs. The youngest man to ever appear in a championship series, and last night his teammate Phil Niekro became the oldest man at the age of 43. That record can be broken if Jim Cott gets into a game. About a few months older than Phil. Chopped foul, breaking pitch.
We had a situation this year where Hott was pitching to Manny Mota. And if you just walked into the ballpark, you thought you were at an old-timers game.
Dodgers activating Manny down the stretch. You'll do it again next year, too, won't you?
Probably. Still hit.
2-2 pitch. And he can't check in time. Low and inside. Porter makes the tag. And that's that for Atlanta in the bottom of the first inning. Another look. The pitch low and in, running down at his feet. And Claudel coming around. No question about that. Through one. It's St. Louis nothing and Atlanta nothing.
Guys, we've got some good news.
And some bad news.
First, the good news. In shaving tests nationwide, Gillette's Good News disposable razor with micro-smooth twin blades gave men a closer, smoother, safer shave than Bic.
Now, the bad news. If you use Bic, you are not getting as close, as smooth, or as safe a shave as with
Gillette's Good News.
Sorry, Bic.
Gillette's Twin Blade Good News. It's bad news for Bic.
We'll open your eyes.
Until now, a big TV picture meant a big piece of furniture. RCA announces a breakthrough. This new ColorTrack 2000. See how its 25-inch picture fits in the space of a 19-inch set with our most advanced color technology, remote control, and 127 channels, including cable. ColorTrack 2000. Finally, a breakthrough in television.
We'll open your eyes, open your eyes. RCA.
About 12 years ago, just after Honda invented the first ATC three-wheeler, we invented the second, and the first three-wheeler race was on. Since then, every major three-wheeler race ever run has been won by one machine, the Honda ATC. But that figures. Just look at the head start we had.
Follow the leader. He's on a Honda.
If the Braves win tonight, we'll go to a fourth game to be played tomorrow. There are the times, 3 o'clock Eastern, tomorrow afternoon, 2 Central, 12 o'clock out on the coast for Game 4, if the Braves win it.
They have it.
We go to the second inning at Atlanta. Al Michaels with Howard Cosell, Tom Lasorda. No score. Cardinals leading in the series 2-0. Keith Hernandez, Darrell Porter, and then George Hendrick. Rick Camp in the first set the Cardinals down 1-2-3 on 3 grounders. Hernandez 2 for 8 in the playoffs. 1-0.
This guy is such a fine hitter that he intimidated Joe Torre last night into pitching to Oberkfell because he was thinking about having to pitch to this fellow.
Yep, looking ahead. Pass to that point he made in the pregame talk with me.
2 balls, no strikes to count.
Remember, we told you he was a 42nd round draft choice. Ordinarily, you'd pay a guy like that nothing.
Down the left field line and curling back out of play, and the count is 2-1.
But that was not true of Keith Hernandez. Joe Morgan fan club. That's cute. In memory of Morgan's home run against the Dodgers, the final day, enabling Atlanta, who had lost to San Diego, nonetheless to capture the Western Division crown. Now, Bing Devine, who was with the Cardinals then.
Hernandez goes the other way into left field for a base hit. So the Cardinals have their first hit. Hernandez leading things off in the second with a solid single, and it will bring up Darrell Porter 4 for 6 in the playoffs.
As you look at Keith, Al, and Tommy, maybe you know the story. He's got a picture swing. Bing Devine sent Bob Kennedy, who was then with the Cardinal organization, out to check the kid out, and Kennedy sent him a telex. He said, the kid's got a picture swing, sign him at any cost. He wound up getting a bonus of about $25,000, 42nd round draft choice.
Well, I'll tell you, he turned out to be some kind of ball player.
Darrell Porter takes a strike in the count 0-1. He may have been a sleeper in the draft, but when Hernandez came up, in the mid-70s, the Cardinals were talking about him glowingly. So once he got there, he didn't shock them. 0-1 pitch is fouled away, and the count is 0-2.
I admire Darrell Porter very much. When you heard his story, you know that his life hasn't been easy, but he's fought back. And certainly doing splendidly in this series.
Grounded foul, and the count stays 0-2. When you talk about pitchers who are able to keep the ball down, that stat there indicating just how effective Camp is. He and Bruce Bereni of Cincinnati both serving up pitches that resulted in 29 double plays this season. The venerable one right there, Phil Niekro.
I wanted to finish what I started, he said.
He went 6 last night. We could see him again in Game 5 if there is a 5th game fouled away.
Porter's going to try to pull the ball in the hold with the runner holding. That's the reason why he doesn't allow Hernandez to run. He wants to give him the hole that he can do it with. He's a pull hitter.
Chambliss holding Keith on at first. Nobody out in the second inning, no score. And the 0-2 pitch is up and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Darrell Porter. Porter hit well when he played with Kansas City in championship series play, 76, 77, 78, and 80. Lifetime, he's hit .333 in the playoffs. And in this series, not only with 4 hits, but 3 walks.
He got the key walk, the Bedrosian walk that filled the bases that set up the big 5-run inning in the first Cardinal victory.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count.
Camp doesn't want to run the count to 3-2. Now he'll get Hernandez running on the pitch, and it will take away the opportunity of the double play. So he has to get him to hit the ball here.
Rick Camp, a native Georgian, 29 years old. Braves picked him in the 6th round in the June '74 draft. Two pitch, and he lays off, and it's outside, and the board had it 2-2. Porter thought it was 3-2, and the plate umpire Wendelstedt says, "Come on back." I thought maybe we had misread it for a moment. The count was 2-2, and Darrell didn't know what it was.
Well, Wendelstedt got that one right, Tommy.
That's right. And now you can look for Hernandez to be running on the pitch.
3-2. Once again, man thinks the count is full. This is a tough pitch to call a ball, which he does. Turned it over a bit. Wendelstedt.
Boy, I'll tell you, he almost went around on that.
Yep.
But he did.
So the count is now full, 3-2. Hernandez off to his lead at first. Camp ready. There he goes, and the 3-2 pitch is chopped foul outside first. Camp, his last start last Sunday, talked about the start in San Diego. He was pitching well through 4. That was the game in which he yielded a single in the 5th inning. Then the next batter, Broderick Perkins, hit one off Camp's glove that hit Bob Engel, the second base umpire. Camp came unglued, and by the time the inning was over, the Padres led 5-1, and they won the game by that count. Engel tonight is down the right field line, and the 3-2 pitch is outside. He loses it. So Porter, who had rehearsed that move to first base, now goes there officially. Runners at first and second with nobody out. And up comes Hendrick.
Can't overestimate the value of this man to this club, Tommy. And yet when the Cardinals got him, there were raised eyebrows because, as Al mentioned the other day, bad relationships with media people. Refuses to talk to them, which under the Constitution is his right.
Fouled back our way and just above us.
And so when they got him, he was met at the airport by Big Devine and by the then manager, the late Kenny Boyer. Then, when finally Bing left the Cardinals, one of the men who wrote him and thanked him and praised him was George Hendrick.
Who hits it into right field for a base hit. Hernandez had to wait. Now he rounds third, being waved in, and the throw comes into second. The Cardinals are on top, and on the plate, Porter goes to third. So a base hit by Hendrick. A liner to right center.
All he does is knock in runs, does the job, helps the team win a lot of ball games. He's a tremendous asset to that ball club, and all the players on the Cardinal club really look up to George Hendrick.
They certainly do.
He drove in 104 this season, and he missed 26 games with injuries, primarily an elbow injury early. Had he played, let's say, all but maybe 10, he would have led the league in runs batted in, more than likely. Murphy and Oliver tops with 109. The pitch to McGee is outside ball one. Willie McGee has figured in several interesting plays in this series. The triple the other night that could have been a home run as Bob Gibson makes his way to the mound to talk with Camp. Then last night's play when he wanted to come up throwing and never came up with the ball, and Ramirez was able to circle the bases. And then the chopping signal, the key hit late in the game for Willie. So Bob Gibson with Camp. Wide World of Sports this Saturday, WBA World Featherweight Championship. Eusebio Pedroza, Howard, against Bernard Taylor. What about that one?
Pedroza's a tough fighter, often accused of dirty tactics, and some have been questionable. He is nonetheless a very tough and a very effective fighter. I had him in a bout in Panama when he absolutely astounded me. He was fighting a young man who was a very promising fighter from Guyana.
Willie McGee driving it into the gap in right center field for extra bases. That will score Porter. Hendrick is rounding third. They are waving him in. Hubbard's throw coming to the plate, and it is not in time. As he gets to the plate before Benedict's tag, and McGee winds up at third, and the Cardinals are on top 3-0. Willie McGee.
And, of course, what's happened to Camp early on in this game is he's getting those pitches up, and they're creaming him.
Hendrick sliding in, getting tagged in the head, but his foot on the plate prior to the tag. That's the most solid contact Willie's made in this series. All the way to the fence.
See where that pitch was, Thomas?
Camp has to keep the ball down or he's in trouble, in which he is right now.
And it's a base hit up the middle for Ozzie Smith to drive in McGee and make the score 4-0. So now all of a sudden, the crowd, which was in an ebullient mood, begins to boo. They want Camp out of there. And Joe Torre will be filling the request.
Just to finish up, Pedroza, a tough cookie. Taylor, equally tough. Should be a very good fight.
So Camp is gone with nobody out in the second. 4-0 St. Louis.
We are USA 1, and USA 1 is taking charge by launching 1983 with the most exciting offer in automotive history. Buy or order any new Chevy Chevette, Citation, full-size C10 pickup, Love Truck, or standard S10 pickup by November 15th, and get a round-trip ticket for two wherever Eastern Airlines flies. In the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Bermuda, Bahamas, or the Caribbean. Tickets good for a full year. There's never been an offer like it before.
Deacon's my name, and bowling's my game. Gutter ball, gutter ball!
All right, how you gonna score there?
Come on, 3 strikes and you're out.
Look, we just won another round of light beer from Miller.
Yeah, light sure tastes great.
Let's fill it! Tastes great! Wait a minute!
There it is, down there.
Take your time.
8 ball in the pocket.
Bubba, this ball doesn't have any holes in it. Yeah, it does.
The score's all even.
Glass frame. Who's up?
Rodney.
Rodney! Gotta be a mistake.
Hey, you kidding? It's a piece of cake.
All we need is one pin, Rodney.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I didn't get my turn yet. I'm going to break this tie.
Pascual Perez, who started, went 5 innings plus in Game 1 on Thursday, comes out of the bullpen, and he was down there just briefly. Perez didn't have much opportunity to get a lot of throwing in, but Torrey could not afford to wait any longer the way camp was going, so he brings in the youngster who started the season in the minors in the Pittsburgh chain, came to Atlanta in the Larry McWilliams deal, went to Richmond, came up, and pitched well down the stretch.
Al, much has been made of the notion that the Braves at home are super. I don't cotton to that notion because I don't think the figures bear it out. They've only outscored the opposition at home over the season by 1 single run. The truth is they do hit more homers at home than on the road, but the other truth is that Atlanta was the best team in the league on the road, and they clinched the pennant, winning 5 out of 7 on the road.
Andujar up there to bunt. Chambliss will make the play. Back to Hubbard, 3-4 on the sacrifice, and down to second goes Ozzie Smith. So that's the first out of the inning. An inning that's featured 3 singles, a triple, and a walk, and a 4-0 Cardinal lead. And Tommy Herr, the batter.
The truth is, Al, that while they hit 95 homers in this ballpark in 81 games, they simply have not had the depth of pitching, and especially the essential point Tommy Lasorda made, the left-handed pitching that they need to protect in this ballpark. So I don't think being at home is that big for the Braves.
Pitch on the way to Tommy Herr is taken for a strike. Well, we talked about it last night. You were in Pittsburgh last night, Howard, at the Steeler dinner, but the Braves come in, Necro at 17-4, and then after that, the rest of the rotation for the series was Perez spending half the year in the minors, Boggs spending 2/3 of the year on the disabled list, and Camp, who was 2 under 500. 0-1 pitch is popped in the air, left field. Royster comes in, and Jerry gets there to make the play. 2 gone. It makes baseball the most fascinating of games, though, to think about it. And Tommy Lasorda is sitting here, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but here are the Braves, Tommy. And as Howard mentions, their lack of pitching depth, and we stated the figures, and yet they were able to finish ahead of a team with Valenzuela and Royce and Welch.
That's true, and they had the knack. They so many times they came from behind in the 9th inning to win ball games, which is a credit to them. But if you take the games that they were losing going into the 9th inning, that's where their strength was. They do have 4 guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
1 ball, no strikes, the count on Ken Oberkfell. 8th man to bat in the 2nd inning, and the 1-0 pitch is taken for a strike. 1-1. Four nothing Cards. 2 out. Smith at second base. Two and 1 the count. Again, if you were out sailing today, Milwaukee beat California 4-3. And the Brewers in the World Series for the first time ever. 2-1 pitch. In the air to left center field. Murphy waves Royster away, makes the catch. So Perez does the job, but the Cardinals pick up 4. 4 hits, leave 1. Middle of the 2nd, 4-0 St. Louis.
There's a hungry kind of feeling, and every day it grows. You know there's so much more to you than anybody knows.
In the Army, we do more before 9 a.m. than most people do all day.
Hey, First Sergeant. Good morning.
If you care about your pictures, you'll flip over Kodak paper. Because for a good look on the front, it helps to have Kodak paper on the back. Kodak paper. It's the only paper to flip over. So to help your pictures look their best, come to a store that cares enough to use Kodak paper.
And you flip.
Just ask for Kodak paper where you see this sign. And start flipping.
How did your brakes sound before you came to Kmart K-Care?
Plunk, squeak. I have to use my hands to show you.
One screech.
You know, by that time, you know you've got to have brakes.
If you need brakes, come to Kmart for our front disc brake special. You'll get a K-Care price and sure stops.
And I knew the brakes wouldn't go out. That if I needed them, they'd be there.
Let Kmart K-Care take care of you.
Oh, it was great. The car stopped.
K-Care is a good car care.
Bob Horner will lead off for Atlanta going to the bottom of the second inning. And Howard had this conversation with him earlier.
Quite candidly, there were problems with the front office between you and Mr. Turner. Have those been resolved?
Pretty much. Last year was very quiet. This year's been very quiet. With the playoffs and everything, you kind of got to put that in the background. I'm not even thinking about that until the season's over with, and I've got a contract to do at the end of the season, but we'll wait till this is over with and enjoy this while it's here.
Is it your desire to stay in Atlanta?
Most definitely. I think that things have changed around a little bit, and the team's winning, and we're playing well, and we've been together for quite a number of years, all of us, and we've grown up together, and I'd very much like to stay here.
And here is Horner to lead things off in the bottom of the second inning, to be followed by Chambliss and Murphy. Pitch for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Game 3, Cardinals on top 4-0. Had some sprinkles at the outset. Dry right now. A strike, and the count is 0-2. Joaquin Andujar, signed by the Reds, never pitched for them. Spent several years in their minor league system, then on to Houston, and now St. Louis. Chopper foul. 0-2. When you talk about Herzog, the restructuring of the club, you mainly think about that deal with the Milwaukee Brewers, the blockbuster, also the Suter deal, getting Bruce from Chicago. The Andujar deal was a pretty good one, and it was buried because it happened just before the baseball strike last year. Tony Scott going to Houston.
Well, he jammed it with that fastball.
Again, if you have not been with us for a few games, Bob Horner, crowd is responding. Ted Turner wound up with the carom of that foul ball. The reason for that response. Turner playing with his elbow wrapped. Hyperextended elbow incurred in Cincinnati on a base running play on September the 18th. And he was out 2 weeks. Popped up, foul ground. Hernandez coming over. Has room. One gone. Down goes Horner. Up comes Chambliss.
It appears that layoff has really hurt Horner swinging the bat.
It would certainly appear that way. This is the man who can be difficult for Joaquin.
Chambliss facing Andujar the other day in the rained-out game, single to drive in that game's only run, then fly to center. 1-0 the count. .95 the reading on that last pitch by Andujar. Pitch. Up and away. 2-0 the count.
Gracious lady, of course, is Mrs. Coretta Scott King, the widow of the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King.
Chambliss chasing it. 2-2. quieting down. Not much to cheer about when your club's down by 4 early. 2-2 to Chambliss. It's roughly off Andujar, down to Hernandez. Keith dives, and he's out at first base. Now, where did it hit Joaquin is the question.
Looked like it hit him in the leg.
Limping back toward the mound. A rifle shot. He pointed to where it hit him. Left shin. And so Gene Gieselman, the Cardinal trainer, and Whitey Herzog come out.
That can stiffen up in a hurry, can it, Thomas?
That ball was creamed.
I told you Andujar has trouble with Chris. And you put it down low to Chris. A great low ball hitter.
There it is. Right there. Out over the plate. Look at it.
Skips off the front of the mound. Off the left shin. And then Hernandez makes a great play here as Keith comes up with the ball, dives for the bag, and gets there in time. And reflexively, Andujar was going to first base. He was attempting to cover. As you can see, the close play, and what a play by Hernandez, overshadowed right now by the Cardinals' concern about Andujar. Keith, a 4-time Gold Glove winner. And Andujar says he's okay. That, of course, though, is the type of injury that as time goes along isn't going to feel a lot better.
Yeah, they're going to try to put some ice on it as quickly as possible when it gets in the dugout to keep it from stiffening. But something like that may be bothering me in a couple innings.
So 2 down with the bases empty, and Dale Murphy is the batter. Murphy, one Brave who certainly enjoyed the confines of this park this season, hit .310 at home and hit 24 of his 36 home runs in this stadium. Fouled back. 0-1. Murphy dropping from 3 to 6 in the order, not simply because he hasn't hit in the first 2 games of this series. He did not basically hit for the better part of September. Takes a strike, and the count is 0-2.
This is the fellow that was responsible for this club winning a lot of ball games. You can see he had 109 RBIs, 36 home runs, and a .507 slugging percentage. He helped this ball club win a lot of games with his bat.
Andujar gets him on a sharp breaking pitch. So Joaquin, at least now anyway, showing no ill effects of taking the liner off his leg. Again, 0-2, a prototypical 0-2 pitch. Throwing it outside the strike zone and getting Murphy to chase it. At the end of 2, Cardinals 4, Braves nothing.
You are the player, and the arcade is the arena. You focus your mind and propel yourself into a universe where you're the master of your destiny for as long as you can keep the trip going. This is the arcade experience. We're ColecoVision. We bring the arcade experience home with games like Donkey Kong with multiple screens, arcade controls, and arcade graphics that let you have the arcade experience at home because your vision is our vision. ColecoVision.
We are USA 1. Taking charge with a Chevrolet so versatile. It's part moving van, part school bus, part camper, and part sporty car. The front-wheel drive Chevy Citation, outselling every other front-wheel drive over the past 3 years combined. USA 1 is taking charge.
Only a few copiers in the world can automatically make crisp, clear, readable copies from these originals. That includes the 3M plain paper copiers, because they're the only copiers with Sensitron, a remarkable 3M automatic exposure system that instantly fine-tunes itself so you'll get crisp, clear, readable copies time after time. It's a difference in quality you can see, because with Sensitron, what you see is what you get.
The hometown crowd will cheer for undefeated Bernard Taylor when he goes through Sabio Pedrosa's WBA World Featherweight title, Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
3rd inning coming up. Gene Gieselman, the Cardinal trainer, with the attention being paid to Joaquin Andujar in the dugout as Lonnie Smith takes up and in. 1-0 the count. So they'll work on Andujar after he took the bullet off his left shin. Fouled away by Smith. 1-1 the count.
Quick report, according to the news services, on the pro football strike. For the first time in 8 days, Gene Upshaw, Ed Garvey, and Jack Donlan met face-to-face.
Smith grounds it down to short, and Ramirez throws him out. 1 away.
And they agreed to contact the director of the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, Kay McMurray. McMurray will pick someone from a pool of federal mediators. It was not announced when this will happen. But frankly, Al, I'm not surprised, because at that Pittsburgh Steelers 50th anniversary dinner last night, at which Commissioner Pete Rozelle was in attendance, and he said nothing about the strike. But from my talks with those owners who were there, I just got a sense that this thing is going to break this week. It is only a sense. It is not founded upon any factual knowledge. I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks this week.
Keith Hernandez takes a strike, 1-1. You could be back working a week from Monday, huh?
Wise guy, huh?
Oh, you miss it. I know you do. Game 4, if necessary, if, of course, the Braves win. It's as simple as that. 3 o'clock Eastern tomorrow afternoon. Columbus Day. 1-1 pitch is up high, ball 2.
I'm taking Lasorda with me.
Where?
Monday Night Football.
The thing that the relief pitchers right here, they must keep the Cardinals from scoring any more runs and keep the Braves within the striking distance.
Hubbard moves over to glove, throw him out. 2 down. And thus far, Perez has done exactly that. He came in out of the bullpen, and he has set down the 5 men he has faced, despite throwing very little in the pen. Camp got into trouble hastily, and Pasquale was only up for a moment or two prior to coming in. Porter is the batter. Drew a walk in the second inning, his 4th walk in 2 games plus.
See, he's the 3rd hitter next inning, and of course, if somebody gets on, Joe may want to pinch hit and go to the bullpen, so he's going to have to rely on that bullpen to keep him in the game.
2 out, nobody on. Perez throws a strike, and the count is 0-1. 4-0 Cardinals. Popped up a mile high back toward the screen. Bruce Benedict is coming back and won't have a play.
That ball had a good chance of hitting a low cloud. Howard, that's what you call a major league pop-up.
I've seen it. I saw you hit some. A lot of them.
I threw a lot of them up, too.
Made the point the other night as you looked at that graphic that Perez really runs counter to what you would think. Has more success against left-handed batters than righties. 0-2 pitch is in the dirt, and the count is 1-2.
Porter's been a tough out in his playoffs.
He really has. He's catalyzed this ball club. Last time up, he fought and fought and fought Camp, and finally got the base on balls that really set up the big 4-run inning.
He's been on base quite a few times.
2-2 the count. 4 walks and 4 hits in the series. And if you want to go back to the game that was rained out, he drew a walk in that one, too.
Guards the plate well. Excellent eye.
Two pitch on the way is outside. So after getting quickly ahead, the count is now full. Three and 2 on Darrell, who enjoyed infinitely more success this season offensively on the road than at home. And the 3-2 pitch to him is fouled straight back.
That's Mrs. Porter.
Most of the Cardinal wives are here. Both teams chartered out last night, arrived in Atlanta early this morning. And the 3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. So Pascual Perez has ignited the crowd. Coming in to set down the 6 men he has faced, and after 2.5 it remains. Cards 4, Braves nothing.
News brief brought to you by Atari. Now from Washington, Tom Gerald.
Good evening. Fugitive leaders of Solidarity are calling for a nationwide strike on November 10th as the first challenge of the Polish government's outlawing of that union. Poland's Archbishop Glimp today denounced military rulers for dissolving Solidarity. At the Vatican, a highly emotional Pope John Paul called the action a violation of the fundamental rights of man. Governor Brown has declared a state of emergency in 3 California counties where brush fires have inflicted heavy damage and injuries. Judy Goldsmith, the newly elected president of NOW, vows to turn that group into a political force to defeat right-wing politicians. Now this.
With ion zones and evil drones, there's never been a video game like Yar's Revenge, and it's only from Atari.
Prince Charles dived into the English Channel today to inspect the wreckage of the Mary Rose, a 16th century vessel being recovered from the Channel's mud. More on the Weekend Report.
Need any help? Oh, the movers are here. I'm still packing. I have a headache, and I can't find the aspirin.
Take my Bufferin. Plain aspirin's smart, but it can upset your stomach. Taking Bufferin is smarter. It's a special kind of aspirin pain reliever. Look, some stomachs can be delicate, like this crystal, and plain aspirin can upset them. Bufferin gives aspirin relief, plus special buffers that help protect against stomach upset. How do you feel now?
A lot smarter.
Bufferin is smarter. Also an extra strength.
If you missed it this afternoon, Milwaukee winning that game, each team scoring in the first. Freddie Lynn driving in the California run, and Ted Simmons with a sacrifice fly to get Molitor home. California took the lead on another Lynn base hit to drive in a run in the 3rd inning to make it 2-1. Bob Boone driving in a run in the 4th inning to make it 3-1, and Ben Oglivie made it 3-2 in the 4th. In the 7th inning, that's when Milwaukee won it, picking up 2. Cecil Cooper, a 2-out, 2-run single, and that provided the difference. Peter Ladd closed them out. The game ended with Rod Carew grounding out with a man at second, and Bud Selig is going crazy.
Our congratulations to Mr. Selig, to Mr. Harry Dalton, to the Milwaukee Brewers. You come from behind the way they did, you've got to admire them. And
also to Mr. Harvey
I was
Keene.
about to say, to that extraordinary man.
Glenn Hubbard takes up an in.
One of the most compelling stories, Al, really in my lifetime in American sport. The 2 major surgeries, then the leg amputation, life all but taken from him, and to come back, good Lord.
Hubbard fouling it away. Keene taking over the team on the 2nd of June this year. And off and flying they went.
I was in the American League in his heyday. He was some kind of hitter.
Well, the Big Bear was his first manager, the late Fred Hutchinson. And the K&K boys came up together, Keene and Kaline. And Fred Hutchinson said to Harvey, somewhere along the way, young man, somebody's going to try to change your batting stroke. They're going to want to make you a power hit. Long ball. Don't let them do it. Just keep your stroke and keep your personality. And Keene says it's lived with me.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Hubbard. Pops out. Back out of play, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Joaquin Andujar showing no effects really at this particular point anyway, taking the 1 hopper off his leg. In the 2nd inning, he came back to strike Murphy out. He's 2-2 here and is throwing hard to Hubbard.
He's still got the good stuff right now, and the only thing he has to worry about is the leg stiffening up later on. Good
Struck him
pitch.
out. If anything, he looks even sharper. 3 strikeouts. The last 2 are successive. Same type of pitch he got Murphy on here. Run it low and away and get him to chase it. 1 gone.
This guy is some pitcher. It was just a break that the Cardinals, Whitey Herzog will tell you, got Andujar. It was a matter of Andujar not settling with Houston monetarily and Scott not settling with St. Louis monetarily. Each promptly signed with the other team when the trade went through.
And Smith throws out Benedict for the second out of the inning. So the Braves with just 1 hit. That was Ramirez who led off with a single. Royster followed by hitting into a double play. Andujar struck out Washington to end the first, set the side down in order in the second, and 2 gone quickly in the third, with Perez hitting for himself.
This crowd came out here tonight with a great deal of enthusiasm, and as yet the Braves haven't given them anything to cheer about, but it's still early in the game, and they're only 4 runs down, and they got a lot of innings to score.
Perez tries to bunt his way aboard, takes a strike. Braves drew a record 1,801,000 this season. They got off to that great start, drew well over the course of the summer, but then they had some very disappointing crowds in September for some key games here. Down in 4 figures. To the right side to Hernandez. Keefe makes the play himself. And Andujar looks fine. No ill effects whatsoever. Through 3, it stays 4-0 Cards.
For nearly 75 years, we've been leaving our mark on America. The General Motors mark of excellence. But you may be asking, what have you done for me lately? Right now, we're using the latest techniques in computer-aided design, lasers, and robotics to build cars and trucks that carry on the tradition of GM excellence. We're conducting the most advanced safety-related research in the industry. And with the help of technology like aerodynamic research, GM has improved mileage 100% since 1974. Excellence isn't just a quality, it's a commitment and a promise to always be better and better. We're living up to our commitment. Right now, today, we're the best GM ever.
I can turn your idle cash into working money.
I can make sure your interest or dividend checks automatically earn high money market fund rates instantly.
I can give you a combination investment account, checking account, and the American Express Gold Card.
It's the Shearson American Express Financial Management Account, and it can turn your idle cash into working money.
The Financial Management Account, only from the flagship of the financial world, Shearson American Express.
All the scoring in this one in the second inning. The base hit by Hernandez starting it. Darrell Porter the walk. George Hendrick drove in 1 with a single. Willie McGee 2 with the triple. And then Ozzie Smith got McGee home, and it's 4-0 as we go to the 4th inning. George Hendrick leads off, facing Pascual Perez in relief of Rick Camp. 0-1 the count. One and one. When we talked to Torrey last night on the pregame show, thought was that Perez would come back in game number 4. He had pitched the opener, and then maybe Niekro in game 5, grounded down to short, and Ramirez throws him out. But when you're down 4-0 and there's no tomorrow for you, you can't think about game 4 right now.
You just shouldn't try to pull a pitch like the one that George just pulled, should you, Tony?
No, that's the pitch he's going to have to go the other way with.
Exactly.
And he did it when he had the runners on base. They kept the ball away from him, and he went to the other side of the field with it, with a line drive right over the second baseman's head. Hendricks is very, very tough when you have those men on base.
Willie McGee, a triple in the second inning. Out of play. McGee 2 out of 9 in the championship series. Began the year in AAA ball at Louisville. Reaches out and grounds it to the right side, where Hubbard gets to it and throws it out for the second out. So Mr. Perez has retired the 8-man he's faced, and Ozzie Smith will come up.
I tell you, it's worth the price of admission to watch that kid run. Looks a little bit like E.T.
That's right. He made a very close play out of it. He can get out of the box.
You said it, Coach.
What's the matter, Alpha?
You said it. I wanted to make sure where the letters go.
There's nothing wrong with that.
2 down. Smith takes inside, pull 1.
Elliott almost went with E.T.
That's right.
E.T. almost stayed with Elliott.
Ozzie getting out of the way. This one gets the inside corner, and the count is 1-1.
Doing a job out there. Firing the ball, good control. Fastball's got some movement to it.
Doesn't have the pressure he had in that starting role.
2-2.
Big difference, Tommy.
Yeah, but if he can do the job and hold in this club, it will be a big help to the Atlanta Ball Club. They're going to have to come out and score some runs.
3-2 now. Andujar will be next. Let's go Braves is the chant. And the 3-2 pitch. And they lose him. So Ozzie Smith goes to first base. First walk given up by Perez. First base runner off Pascual. And Joaquin Andujar comes up.
And again, that proves the value of a good 8th place hitter. With 2 outs, he gets on the base. Now he allows Andujar to bat this inning rather than having Andujar lead off the next inning, which in most cases would be an out.
Smith at first base. Andujar's lifetime average is 136. And as you can see, topped all pitchers and strikeouts. He doesn't get cheated up there, though, normally. He loves to flail away. And the count is 0-2.
He very rarely makes contact.
Yep.
In other words, he looks good swinging and striking out.
Keeps trying to hit that curve low and away down the left field line.
So did you, especially at Montreal.
Andujar and a curveball up at the plate are complete strangers. There it is.
1-2 the count.
There's that pitch that sent a lot of hitters back to the lunch bucket.
Torrey, Gibson, Walker. And Joaquin is gone. So Perez has come out firing from the bullpen. And at the end of 3 1/2, 4-0 St. Louis.
If you run a small business, profits can get squeezed when inventory doesn't match up with production. What can help is a visit to an IBM personal computer dealer. Once you've explained the kind of help you need, a computer expert will show you the system that's right for you, show you how simple it is to get started, and how IBM's easy-to-follow instructions and library of business and management software can help you solve your problems and give you a tool for modern times. The IBM personal computer. Not only can it help you plan ahead, it'll balance your books and give you more time to make dough. And the cost? That's the icing on the cake. Your own IBM personal computer. Try it at a store near you.
We are USA 1. And number 1 is taking charge in high-technology transportation. With new generation Chevrolets like Celebrity. taking charge in production techniques. With the new high-compression electronic fuel-injected Cavalier and taking over the streets. With the electrifying Camaro, Chevrolet, America's sales leader, is taking it all to the limit. USA 1 is taking charge.
Puzzle? Well, if you want scores, if you want late-breaking sports news, if you want the best college football analysis, only ABC Sports makes the pieces fit.
Reminder, coming up next Thursday, after Too Close for Comfort, Richard Crenna and Patty Duke Aston return to television in the outstanding new family comedy, It Takes Two. An hour of laughs next Thursday at 9 Eastern Time. Bottom of the fourth inning. Rafael Ramirez to lead off. Jerry Royster and Claudell Washington. Ramirez, the only Atlanta base runner to this point, singled in the first. Was erased on a double play. Takes a strike. 0-1.
This kid looks frailer than he really is. You don't realize how tall and lithe and supple and beautifully built he is until you stand next to him.
0-2.
Tommy knows him inside out from his days in the Dominican Republic. And he's the kind of kid who grows on you, doesn't he?
He's been doing a real good job for the Braves. Last year he made a lot of errors. Of course, he made a lot of errors this year, but he's made a lot of great plays for them and really helped them out. And offensively, he's improved a great deal.
Wouldn't be a bad tactic, it seems to me, to try and get some men on base and let Andujar work that leg that was hurt to use the bunt. That's a weapon.
He's going to throw him a slider right now, it looks like.
He's not going to bunt with 2 strikes, of course, but I mean generally and tactically speaking.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count on Ramirez. Andujar, since taking the one hopper off his shin, has set down the ensuing 4. Joaquin, little success in recent times against Atlanta, has never won a game in this park. Outside, 3-2 the count.
That's true, but as we pointed out, it's a deceptive figure because he has pitched very effectively. He's lost very close, very tough ball games.
With a 4-run lead, Joaquin Andujar doesn't want to walk this batter. He's going to have to come right in with a fastball. He missed with 2 sliders.
3-2 pitch. Loses him. So Ramirez draws the walk. The first given up by Andujar. And the Braves giving their fans a chance to get up. Chief Nakahoma. Jerry Royster, the batter. Andujar this season allowing about 1.7 walks per 9 innings. So Joaquin not prone to wildness. He's been around the plate all season. Ramirez goes, and Royster pops it up in foul ground and back out of play. So the Braves trying to get a little aggressive, trying to shake the lethargy.
Well, they know. See, Andujar, although he has a quick move to first base, as I pointed out earlier in the first inning when Ramirez was on the base, he still has a high kick to deliver the ball home. And this is the one guy that you would find it easier to steal off of, because the minute he raises his left foot off the ground, the runner takes off, and by the time he gets it up to where he generally does, then he comes down. Why, the guy has an opportunity to steal the base. If you watch the way he kicks his leg up on his delivery to the plate.
So for the very point you make, he tries to compensate by working over the runner and trying to hold him on the bag.
0-1 pitch. He stays this time, and it's grounded down to her at second, who makes the tag and throws to first, a double play. The second that Royster has grounded into. And just an unfortunate break for Atlanta. The ball hit right there for Tommy Herr, able to make the tag. There's no way he goes 4-6-3 on this one. He's got to get him in this fashion, and he does. Royster hitting it right there for him.
You know, when the scouts covering major league clubs today, you'll find them with a stopwatch, and they will time the delivery of the pitcher to the home plate, and then they will record it and what it would take the catcher to throw to second base. And that's the way they're going to be able to steal bases on pitches.
Here's Claudell Washington. 0-1 the count. Talking about Andujar's stretch before, Tommy. That's slow motion. The kick and the delivery, and the 0-1 pitch is a swing and a miss, and the count is 0-2. 4-0, the Cardinals on top. 2 out, bases empty, bottom of the 4th in Game 3.
Wants to come back in with a slider again. That's the way they've been pitching this guy the whole series, throwing breaking balls in on his hands and fastballs up and in. The pitcher's friend, Al, is that double play ball, and Royce has already helped Joaquin by hitting into 2 double plays. Really gives the pitcher a lot more confidence.
And because of those 2 double plays, Andujar has faced the minimum 11 through 3 2/3. Two teams in the playoffs, the 2 teams that led the league in turning the BP this season. Atlanta 1 and St. Louis 2. Laughing, I'm thinking about Andujar's quote in the paper the other day. He got upset with somebody contending he doesn't get any publicity. The guy said, "What do you mean?" Andujar said, "Well, I never read the papers." 1-2 pitch is taken low. 2-2.
It's not too bad, is it?
He wins this game, he'll get a lot of publicity.
2-2 pitch is grounded foul.
You must remember one thing, 4-run lead in this park. There's not too many leads that are safe. You got to be careful in this ballpark. You get a couple of men on, and a Horner or a Chambliss or a Murphy comes to the plate, and they can hit the ball out of the ballpark and get this club right back in the ball game.
Down is full. 3-2 on Washington. Horner is on deck. Joaquin Andujar from the Dominican Republic, as is Perez, pitching in relief for Atlanta. And Joaquin losing Washington, so he's walked 2 in the inning. But in between the 2 pieces of bread, a piece of meat called a double play, keeping him out of trouble.
Nevertheless, he's inviting the very situation that Tommy suggested. The long ball, with a man on, and immediately they're back in the game. It's reflective of playing in Fenway Park.
Well, when you have a lead like that, you have to make them hit the ball. You got a chance. If he hits the ball, he could hit a line drive. There's no defense for a bases on ball.
Bob Horner fouled out in the second inning. And they go into the shift for Horner, and it also begins to rain. Tommy Herr on the left field side of second as Horner pops it back foul out of play.
Crowd rises.
Oh, they're getting excited.
They love the rain.
Well, they love the rain because it's not an official game right now.
Exactly, and they know what happened to their team the very first game, and look at it come down. 2 more outs, they would have had a victory in the very first game.
Right now, we are still over an inning away from a full game, a complete game, an official game, as we're in the bottom of the 4th. You have to play 5. 0-1 pitch is outside, off Porter's glove, and down to second goes Washington.
Andujar is struggling at the moment. No question about it.
Rain coming down steadily. You can see it from the low angle shot. A steady rain, but still no stoppage. Harry Wendelstedt, the plate umpire tonight. Any postponement, of course, would have to be called for by the National League president. In this situation, it's Chub Feeney.
The one thing about this field, it will take a lot of water. It's got a great drainage system.
Andujar backing off. And he wants Porter to come out. So the Cardinals into their shift. And Joaquin ready to work 1-1.
Real Wison has hit 70% of his home runs in this ballpark. 97 at home, one on the road.
Driven to right field, but Hendrick comes in, slides, and makes the catch. Great play by Hendrick.
Tremendous
in
play.
right field. So that saves a run as George slides on the slick turf. Horner hitting a shot. He doesn't normally go to right. In fact, as we pointed out, they had her playing on the left field side of second. But Hendrick comes in, goes down, and gloves it. So at the end of 4, it's still St. Louis 4, Atlanta nothing.
Looks like a great day. What are you going to do?
Play tennis.
Get a new swing set.
Anyone want to compare insurance policies? Wait, Allstate could make it worthwhile. And very easy. Just drop off your policies at Allstate the next time you're in Sears. And we're going to do everything to see if Allstate can give you a better value. Oh, got good news for you. You do?
He does. Already?
See what Allstate can do for you. Put yourself in good hands.
According to a Prestone survey, 7 out of 10 cars on the road have rust in their radiators. Of these, almost half could look this bad. Any radiator could get this bad after just 10,000 miles driving on weak, neglected antifreeze. But look at the Prestone difference. Prestone, with its patented silicone silicate formula, forms a tough, protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Be safe. Put in a fresh fill of Prestone now. Deep inside, trust Prestone.
Nowhere else can you get
Sesame seed bun,
toasted and topped
with that special sauce.
that McDonald's has,
Lettuce and cheese,
with pickles and onions.
all big patties.
Our great Big Mac, our special way to say you deserve a break today. At McDonald's,
All these patties,
at McDonald's,
special sauce,
at McDonald's.
cheese. It's a Big Mac.
Well, Wide World returns a week from Saturday. WBA World Featherweight Champion Eusebio Pedrosa. I've told you this Saturday, forgive me, defends his title against Bernie Taylor. That'll be live from Charlotte, North Carolina, except on the West Coast. Bernie Taylor's a great kid, really a great kid. I've watched him grow up in boxing. His dream once was to be an Olympian, and he almost got there.
Fifth inning, Tommy Herr leads off, hitting into the air to left center field. Royster and Murphy going back, and Jerry can't make the play. Picks it up near the track, and Tommy Herr winds up with a double. Herr does not have a whole lot of power. Normally goes the other way. Royster was over toward the line and very shallow. Had a long way to go. Ran the great circle route. Had trouble picking it up.
Royster looked like he was waiting for Murphy to come and catch the ball.
I think that ball clearly should have been caught and could have been caught, and no words need be minced.
Here's a situation right now with a runner on second base and nobody out. Oberfeld must pull the ball. He must get that Herr to third base and have him over there with one out, or a base hit if possible.
Oberfeld takes outside, ball 1-0. Rain has abated somewhat. Still drizzling. The umbrellas are still out.
It's all but gone, though.
What the Cardinals want to see right now is another inning in the books. One more and it's official.
Press is trying to keep the ball away from him to disallow him to pull the ball.
2 balls, no strikes to count. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Cardinals. No runs, 1 hit for the Braves. to the right side. That gets the job done. Hubbard records the out at first over to Chambliss, and Herr advances to third.
He'll go into the dugout now, and everybody will congratulate him on doing the job. Those are the little things that win ball games that really doesn't show in most cases.
Sometimes in the regular season you do that. The general manager later on says, well, he only hit 232 this season. But the guy says, no, wait a second. How many times did I give myself up?
The manager will tell him that.
Doing exactly what Tommy said. Four of the guys went over.
Lonnie Smith, infield has to play in. They can't afford to give up another run when you're down by 4, and Lonnie takes a strike.
And here's where this hitter must realize that Oberfeld gave himself up to get the runner to third base. Now he has to make contact with the ball and try to lift it out of the ground.
0-1 to Smith is high, 1-1.
That's not the kind of pitch to get a batter to hit it into the ground, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely right. You must keep the ball down. Go with a breaking ball here, maybe. There it is.
And it's a liner that's gloved by Ramirez. A great play. Herr retreats to third.
It's a big play right there for the Atlanta Braves. That meant another run in and a runner on first base with the threat of stealing.
And even less time to react than you normally would have with the infield playing in. To his left. 2 down. Gibson's going to go to the mound. Even though Perez got that last out, Bob didn't particularly like the fashion.
Well, they're also discussing what to do about Hernandez.
Right. They've got Hernandez, a left-handed batter. They also have a left-handed batter after him in Porter.
Yeah, but he's not going to let Hernandez get a good pitch to hit. He's going to try to tell him to pitch around him, make him go after a bad pitch. Don't give him a good pitch that he can hit. And then also he's stalling for a little time, allowing the rain to come down a little bit more.
There it is. It's back again and coming down reasonably hard.
2 down, Herr third. All of the scoring in the second inning. 4-0 St. Louis. A liner, and it's off the glove of Hubbard into center field. That will score Tommy Herr and make it 5-0. So Hernandez did get something relatively decent to hit, and Hubbard couldn't hold on. And that scored as a base hit. Hernandez is second of the night. So Ramirez is able to make one play, but Hubbard can't duplicate the feat.
It's a big run for the Cardinals. Look at that. You got that ball right out over the plate. Hubbard made a great attempt to catch that ball.
5-0 St. Louis. Darryl Porter has walked, struck out. 4 for 7 in the playoffs.
As the mound starts to get a little bit muddy from the rain coming down, it's going to make it tougher for him to get a good toe haul on the mound. And throwing the baseball is going to be a little bit tougher with the rain on the ball and in his hands. So he'll have a little bit of control problem as the rain gets progressively worse.
One and one the count.
Look for Hernandez to run, too. He might want to get thrown out and get this inning over with.
He goes, and it's drilled down the right field line, base hit. Claudell Washington over to cut it off, and Hernandez will go to third. So runners at first and third with 2 down in the 5th inning.
Porter continues to have a hot series. I remember Tommy and some of the fans in Atlanta were a little bit upset when in your man-to-man comparison opening game as Joe comes out to change pitchers, you said Bruce Benedict is by far the better defensive catcher. but I've got to take Porter based upon his bat.
Donnie Moore is the man coming in.
Well, you got to go with the offense because of the guy can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Donnie Moore coming in to pitch. Back after this word from our local station.
Wednesday.
You're not that crazy, are you?
On the tails of the Gold Monkey. A double agent stands between Sarah and Jake's life.
Oh, my bum will do that.
They're transferring to a U-boat.
The Gold Monkey.
Come on!
Wednesday. 7 Central and Mountain.
Second, hit the dirt.
The downfall of the UAW's tentative agreement with Chrysler, it appears to be a foregone conclusion. But all the same, voting gets underway again tomorrow in Detroit. We'll have a status report tonight after baseball.
At Kroger, we're putting the finishing touches on our 99th anniversary celebration. And that means lots of anniversary cost cutter savings for you.
Go Krogering for 99th anniversary cost cutters. U.S. government inspected fresh whole frying chicken leg quarters, just 39 cents a pound. Limit 10 pounds, please. And fresh lean Boston butt pork roast is $1.17 a pound, sold as roast only.
For the best of everything, including the price.
Hello? Sorry, Aunt May. She's in a centipede. Dad wanted it at McDonald's. It's part of the grand prize. You should see it all. There's a giant screen TV, too. Plus, an Atari video game and their home computer, too.
It's the Atari Scratch and Win game in Mickey D's. Check it out, because every card can be a winner.
McDonald's food prizes for days. And groovy Atari prizes.
They would? Yes, ma'am. She stood at it. You know how kids are.
Purchase may be required to redeem food prizes.
Donnie Moore, long man out of the Atlanta pen. Third pitch for the night. Worked in game one the other night. On here in the fifth inning with the Cardinals leading the Braves 5-0.
And as for Mr. Darrell Porter, excuse me, he's been on base 8 times in 11 trips to the plate. 5 out of 8 hits, 3 walks. 3 of those hits doubles. For a 3-game series, that ties the record. 3 doubles in the playoffs.
George Hendrick, the batter. Hernandez at third. Porter at first. Inside, 1-0 the count. Keith, who drove in a run with a base hit. And Porter.
Mr. Hendrick is a tough out for Donnie Moore.
1-0 pitch. 1-1. What the fans are hoping for now is a monsoon. Raining, but lightly. 1-1 pitch. Slowly to short. Ramirez goes to first. And that's that in the fifth inning. But the Cardinals add a run, 3 hits, leave 2 after 4.5. Cards 5, Braves nothing.
Best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
When I'm not making music with the Charlie Daniels Band, you'll find me here at home in Tennessee. And where you find me, you'll find my skull. I just take a little pinch and put it between my cheek and gum, and it sure feels good. In fact, I think going smokeless is the only way to go. And my place here? That's something I just can't get too much of.
Enjoy tobacco without lighting up. Try Skoal, Copenhagen, or Happy Days. A pinch is all it takes.
You're looking at the 2 best reasons I take good care of my brakes. They're why I go to Midas on a regular basis. Midas inspects brakes the right way. They pull the wheel. If anything needs doing, I know it gets done right. Some people say I'm overly cautious, but I don't think so. I just feel better going to Midas.
We're nothing but the best he's ever gonna do. Trust the Midas touch.
The hometown crowd will cheer for undefeated Bernard Taylor when he goes for Eusebio Pedrosa's WBA World Featherweight title. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Fifth inning, Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Tom Lasorda with you. The Cardinals trying to wrap up the pennant. The Braves trying to stay alive. And a most formidable task right now. Down 2-0. Down 5-0 here with Chambliss, Murphy, and Hubbard coming up in the bottom of the 5th inning against Joaquin Andujar.
The Braves must get something going. They have to have some men on base in order for one of their big boppers to hit one out of here.
Chambliss hit a shot off Andujar's shin in the 2nd inning. But Joaquin, since then, has allowed 2 walks but no hits. Toward the middle, and Herr is there, stays with the erratic hop, and throws him out. 1 away in the 5th inning. And Dale Murphy coming up.
You know, in defense of Murphy, here's a young man who's played every ball game this year. Played center field and had a tremendous year. And you know he's got to be tired at this particular time of the year.
To center field for a base hit. McGee over to cut it off and get it back in. And so Murphy is aboard with a single. Second hit in this series for Dale. Second hit of the night off Andujar. And Hubbard is the batter. Murphy has good speed, but 5-0 deficit does a little bit to take away your running game.
He won't run, and Hubbard is a much better hitter when he hits the ball to all field. If he tries to pull the ball, he hurts himself.
One and one.
That's the big 3 story. No ribbies, no runs scored among the 3 of them.
The first base and a balk is called. Bruce Fleming, the first base umpire, called it.
He indicated that he brought his knee forward and then turned around and threw to first base.
And Joaquin, while not enamored with the call, basically agrees. No Cardinal protest. Pick it up here now.
See the knee. Knee bent forward and then comes around. A very good call.
One ball, one strike. Crowd trying to pump some life into their team as Hubbard fouls it back. 1-2.
Looking at the Braves bench, if they get a couple of men on, it looked like it would be Wisntit to hit because he's got the capabilities of hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And although Pocaroba is a good contact hitter and line drive hitter, Wisntit will hit the ball a little bit more with power.
They've got Bob Walk in the bullpen. And he blows it by Hubbard. That's the second time Glenn has struck out, and that's strikeout number 4 for Andujar. 2 down now in the 5th inning with Benedict coming up.
It's a big strikeout right there. Andujar still throwing the ball hard.
The last clocking on the fastball that got Hubbard. Benedict at the plate, takes outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count.
Benedict right here is going to make him want to throw a strike. He's got to get on that base. taken until he throws a strike.
Throwing now in the bullpen. Walk was up earlier, and Mailer relegated to the pen after spending a good part of the season in the starting rotation. Outside, 3-1 to count. Kathy Benedict.
He'll be taking this pitch. He should be taking a strike right here.
Puts it away, and it also makes the game official if we get rain. We've played 5 now at Atlanta in Game 3. The Cardinals 5 and the Braves nothing.
You're the umpire as Intellivision presents You Make the Call. Ron Hodges rips a liner off the pitcher's leg, and Tom Hurd plays the carom. Is the batter out? You make the call.
Here's an easy question for you. Which of these games is the closest thing to the real thing? A, Intellivision Major League Baseball. B, Atari Baseball. Here they are again, close up. A, Intellivision. B, Atari. If you thought A, Intellivision, you're absolutely correct. You see, I told you this question was easy.
Cardinal Joaquin Andujar's pitch comes right back at him and hits him sharp in the leg. And you were sharp if you knew that as long as the ball never touched the ground, the batter's out on the catch. You made the call thanks to Intellivision.
Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge. America's hottest selling new size pickup, Chevy S10, just got hotter. With a revolutionary Instatrack 4-wheel drive system that lets you shift from freewheeling 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive high and back at any speed. You can't do that with Ford, Datsun, or Toyota. Chevy S10, there's never been a 4-wheeler like it before. Tough Chevy trucks are taking charge.
Next Wednesday, Diane Cannon has it all. The best of the good life with a husband on the East Coast and a husband on the West Coast. Special world premiere movie. Having it all next Wednesday. Lenny McGee will lead off in the 6th inning, and here was McGee's 2nd inning triple, coming with 2 men on. Drilled into right center between Murphy and Washington. Cardinals wound up getting 4 in the inning, added 1 in the 5th. And as we go to the 6th, it's 5-0.
To me, that's one of the most exciting plays in baseball. To see a guy that can run like that and hitting a triple.
McGee has 2 triples in this series. Only once has a hitter previously had 2 triples in a series. That was George Brett. He did it in 5 games in 77 against the Yankees. He has his 2 in 2.5 games. And in case you're wondering about the Braves, this team has purely and simply gone flat. How did they win the pennant and now look almost futile? Explain in a moment.
1-1 pick. A strike.
They won. There's Joe Torre, who has seen his team, and he's powerless to do anything about it, the same way Lasorda was powerless to do anything about his club when they scored only 16 runs in 8 games. Atlanta won the pennant by overpowering the opposition.
Chopper, corner, waiting for it, has to hurry, and just does get it.
Oh, does he run?
What an amazing burst of speed.
Oh, does he run? They had the big hitters who kept coming through for them. That's how they came from behind in so many games. And they had the 2-man bullpen, Bedrosian and look again.
Horner making sure he has it, and then gunning a strike, and you can see how close McGee makes it at first base.
amazing, isn't it?
Ozzie Smith to the hole and through for a base hit into left field. So Ozzie with a perfect night. 2 singles and a walk.
It'll fool you. He's a pretty good bat manipulator.
So the Cardinals tonight, like the other night when they had 13 hits, 11 singles, a double, and a triple. Tonight, 8 hits, 6 singles, a double, and a triple. That's Steve Mura down in the Cardinal bullpen, just getting in some work. Joaquin Andujar, sacrifice, struck out. Lays it down, and he'll have another sacrifice the same way as before. Chambliss the Hubbard covering, and Ozzie Smith goes down to second. So 2 down. Ozzie in scoring position as the top of the order comes up. Tommy Herr coming up for the 4th time in the game. And there's Bob Walk up again in the bullpen with Moore due to lead off, the pitcher in the bottom of the 6th inning, and no doubt Torrey going to the bench. Nothing Cardinals in the 6th inning. Outside. Cards win tonight. World Series starts on Tuesday in St. Louis as you look at Tommy's wife, Kim. Only way the World Series would be delayed would be if we went to a 5th game here, which would be played on Tuesday. 2-0.
Right now, the Cardinals are saying every run they can get from here on out puts another nail in the coffin, and this is what they're trying to do right here. Joaquin sacrificed successfully, and now if Tommy Herr can drive it in, it puts them 6 runs ahead, and that means the opposing team has to get 7.
Oh, that's interesting.
Ball 3. 3-0. Moore up in Andujar's range with that last pitch, 94 miles per hour. Bruce Sutter, the bearded one, the winner last night. It has to be a most discomforting thought when you're in the other dugout to know you're down by 5. And that guy sits across the way.
And a comforting thought for the pitcher, knowing that you have someone like that ready to come and get you. It's like walking down the street with a bulldog leash. Boy, nobody's going to fool with you.
Three balls, 1 strike, the count. Ozzie Smith at second. And the 3-1 pitch is a strike. The count is full. No rain right now. It's still. The bugs flying around. You can see them. The 3-2 pitch is hit in the air, curling foul. Back out of play. Count stays 3-2. The Cardinals breaking out early this year. Tommy Herr not even drafted. That former free agentry, meaning that he just asked for a tryout or somebody extended an offer to him to try out, and he did. They signed him, went through their minor league system, and up he came. Foul back. Count remains 3-2. The Cardinals, very much like the Braves this year, got off to that quick early start. They won 12 in a row during and just after the period when the Braves were winning 13 straight at the outset. Built up a nice-sized lead, saw that drift away, and they dropped out of first place during the summer, but were never very far removed from the top. Fouled away again.
They had a bad month in June when they were 12-16.
Turners.
Ted Turner. A touch of Hollywood.
Three-two pitch, popped up in foul ground, and this one will be playable. Benedict is there, makes the catch to retire the side. In the sixth, no runs, one hit, leave one at the end of 5.5. St. Louis 5, Atlanta nothing.
That's surprising, Mr. Goodwrench. You mean a wheel alignment could really save me gas?
Sure can, as much as a gallon a tank full.
A gallon?
Right. Your GM owner's manual recommends periodic checks. Your wheels need aligning, we can bring them back to GM factory specs in just a few minutes.
A gallon a tank full?
And we'll check your shocks and brakes, too, just to be sure you're rolling easy.
Keep that great GM feeling.
And save a gallon of gas.
With genuine GM parts.
A lesson in pitching from the pump by Vitalis. The curve, the palm ball, the fastball, the screwball, the sinker, the submarine, the knuckler, the forkball, the spitter, the slider, the knockdown.
The Pump by Vitalis, America's leading men's pump, gives your hair the control you want and a terrific natural look.
He's got every pitch in the book.
I'm under control.
Joaquin Andujar, a shutout through 5, and before the series began, Howard Cosell had this chat with Whitey Herzog.
Whitey, characterize Joaquin Andujar for me.
Basically, he's a pitcher that we acquired last year right before the strike. He never pitched an inning for us till after the strike. Finished with a 6-1 record and really did a good job, beating Montreal 3 times. This spring, he come to spring training. We signed him to a 3-year contract. He came to spring training, pitched very well there, started the season, and has been just outstanding. I would say that Joaquin, in 34, 35 starts this year, has probably really only had 2 or 3 bad starts. He's really been consistent, and the secret is he's learned to keep the ball down. His control has been very good. His strikeout walk ratio has been outstanding, and he finished second in league in ERA, so you know he's done a great job for us.
Well, it's been that sort of night.
That's
for
the story
Braves
of the
fans.
game. Well, there's nothing better on a rainy night in Georgia.
Why don't you croon it? Barry Washington will bat for Donnie Moore as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Washington, Ramirez, and Royster. Braves offensively, nothing doing in the 2.5 games to this point. If you figure it out, they're 11 for 73. The 151 mark.
Look, it's 5-0. This is a big run, big inning ballpark. Why would he start with a power man instead of putting Butch Pocoroba up, who's a contact hitter, more likely to get on base?
Now back.
Tommy? Look at
He
his
figures
last
he's
18
probably
at
saving
bat.
Pocoroba for when he's got a couple of men on there.
Well, Pascual Perez is getting ready for the winter ball. He's gone.
Washington grounds it sharply to Hernandez, but Keith stays with it and does it himself. 1 away in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 hits tonight for the Braves. Rafael Ramirez, a first-inning single. Dale Murphy, a 5th-inning single. Hernandez, those soft hands, right there, tough hop. Picks it up. Does it easily. Ramirez in the series is 2 for 9.
Right about those soft hands, Al. He cradles the ball in. Got Len Swan hands.
Up to this point, Andujar has collared this club with 2 hits in 5 in the 3rd innings.
Hit sharply and gloved at third by Oberkfell. At his shoe tops for the out.
That's 2 balls that were hit very, very hard there for 2 outs. He's getting the ball over. That's what he needs to do. Make him hit the ball.
Right into the glove of Oberkfell. 2 gone in the 6th inning. And Jerry Royster is the batter.
That looked like the line drive to Russell.
Exactly.
That marking the spot where Henry Aaron hit home run number 715 against the Dodgers in 1974. Exactly what the Braves need. 1-0 on Royster. Poor Jerry, an ignominious night to begin with. Has hit into 2 double plays, and now he gets knocked down. Pitch is lined to right center field, but McGee comes in and makes the catch. That ball fairly well hit, but the Braves again come up empty. So we've gone through 6 at Atlanta. St. Louis 5, Atlanta nothing. Back after this word from our local stations.
I believe in loyalty.
She's got a husband on the East Coast.
And fidelity.
A husband on the West Coast.
And honesty. Bigamy!
Diane Cannon is having a ball.
You've got the best of both worlds.
Having it all. Wednesday.
It cost $80 million, and now it's in bad shape. Tonight, investigators from the federal government are wondering why the Zilwaukee Bridge ever got started. We'll have that story, sports, and weather on Action News tonight after baseball.
At last, what you've never seen, never heard, never felt in a video game. Star Master for the Atari video computer system. Chart and challenge. Warp, but wait. Fight and fight again. Retreat to refuel. Battle and be blasted right out of your senses. Star Master by Activision. These are the cowboys of France. As they drive the wild horses of the Camargue region to pasture, they share the hard work. Later, they'll share some wine, the wonderful country wine of France. And now you can share it too, for Partagé French country wine is here. Partagé white tastes light and dry. Partagé red is a soft red with a fresh bouquet. B&G's Partagé. In France, it means to share.
You have seen many great fights on ABC. Now the WBA World Featherweight Championship. The champion, Eusebio Pedrosa, his 15th title defense. The challenger, undefeated American Bernard Taylor, highly ranked and highly motivated to win Pedrosa's crown. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Rick Mailer on the mound for Atlanta. Mailer, a starter most of the season, now working out of the bullpen, as was the case late in the year. The year began in glorious fashion for him. He was their opening night pitcher, pitched a shutout against San Diego, came back in his next start and shut out Houston, and then slid downhill. Oberkfell looks at a strike. 0-1.
Well, I guess they're putting everyone to sleep tonight.
Into right field for a base hit. So Oberkfell has his first hit of the night. Third hit of the series. The Cardinals with 9 hits now. And Lonnie Smith is the batter. If the Cardinals can wrap it up tonight, it's all right by them, because they'll have Mr. Force ready to work probably in Game 1 in the World Series on Tuesday. And the man who works Game 1 can also work Game 4 and can also, if necessary, work Game 7 with 3 days rest. Smith sacrificing Chambliss to Hubbard. 1 gone.
And again, it will be a matchup of the power versus the speed with the Milwaukee Brewers. Look at the way this fella bunts. He gets that hand down on the barrel of the bat. He gets the bat out in front. Gives a little bit with it upon contact of the ball on the bat. And lays down a perfect bunt. He allows the first baseman to come in to field it and advances the man to second base.
Brings up Keith Hernandez.
If the Cards do indeed wrap this thing up tonight, it would be power against speed. But the difference is, and I think the fans could see it clearly during the course of this series, superiority in Milwaukee pitching over Atlanta's pitching. Because you've got Sutton. St. Louis pitching, Milwaukee pitching over Atlanta pitching. What I said first was correct. Because you've got Sutton, Vukovic, Caldwell. You simply have better pitching depth. Don't you agree?
Haas.
Moose Haas pitched effectively.
I think
for
their
7
starting
innings.
staff is much, much better than the starting core of the Atlanta Braves. Without
Not only
question.
that, the discovery of Ladd.
And two fingers not being able to pitch in this playoff may be ready for the Fall Classic.
Exactly.
Darrell Porter having a great series at the plate with runners at first and second. One gone and takes up and away.
What a job that Ladd did for the Brewers.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Spends most of the season in Vancouver in the Pacific Coast League. Man, with a lot of pressure on him. In the absence of fingers, Raleigh's been gone a month.
Just saw that shot of manager Joe Torre.
2-0 the count.
And a kid played at St. Francis Prep in Brooklyn. Grew up there, played at the parade grounds. Once he weighed 240 pounds. When he reported in, you remember, Tom?
Signed by Honey Russell of the Braves.
That's right. Honey Russell, who was a very great basketball coach at Seton Hall.
Ball 3 now, so Porter on his way to drawing another walk. 3-0.
Porter has been outstanding offensively.
To me, he's the MVP in this series.
5 hits, 8 trips, 1 walk tonight, 2 walks last night, a walk in game 1. And he gets the green light. Fouling it away, 3-1.
Oh, he was ripping on that pitch.
That's walk again in the Atlanta bullpen. Porter. 2 on, 1 out. 7th inning. 5-0 Cardinals. And Porter's on again, so they're loaded up for George Hendrick. A week from tomorrow, no football, but football superstars live. 9 Eastern, 8 Central time.
They just can't allow the Cardinals any more runs.
Torrey going to the mound. They have just gotten Steve Bedrosian up to start throwing. There he is, alongside Walk.
That's Joey Pignatano, longtime friend of Joe Torre's and longtime coach. He came down with the others of Joe's staff with the Mets. There's Mr. Hendrick.
Bases loaded, up and in. 1-0. Grounded down to Horner. He comes home with it to Benedict, and they get the force. At short and second, they were at double play depth up at the corners. And an easy play for Horner to get the force out on Oberkfell. So 2 down now with the bases loaded. And Willie McGee will be the batter. Kept it in on him. And Bob Horner cutting him down at home. So it remains 5-0 with Hernandez now at third, Porter at second, Hendrick at first, and Willie McGee the batter.
Say this for the Braves. Whitey hasn't been able to get the crusher executed.
To right center field. Murphy is there. And no damage done. So look there at Roger Maris, who at 61 in 61. Looking on here at the end of 6 1/2, 5-0 Cardinals.
We are USA 1, and USA USA1 is taking charge by launching 1983 with the most exciting offer in automotive history. Buy or order any new Chevy Chevette, Citation, full-size C10 pickup, Love Truck, or standard S10 pickup by November 15th, and get a round-trip ticket for two wherever Eastern Airlines flies, in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, Bermuda, Bahamas, or the Caribbean. Tickets good for a full year. There's never been an offer like it before.
I'm finished.
There's change.
I'm not finished. I'm finished.
Take out chart B.
Not finished.
Why put together your documents the hard way?
I'm finished. What?
When IBM has office systems that can revise large documents
I revised the contracts for the meeting. They're fine, and they're on their way.
and even send them across the country completely collated. Now that's a lot easier, isn't it?
I'm finished. Add this.
Delete this.
I'm not finished.
Open a bottle of Suave Bola and delicious things happen. Savory veal things. Succulent chicken things. Delicate seafood things. Precisely what Franco Bola had in mind when he perfected the clean, crisp taste of Suave Bola. For family, guests, and people you'd like to be your guests. Suave Bola. Invite a couple of bottles to dinner. You can always trust the taste of a Bola.
The Atlanta Braves to send up Washington, Horner, and Chambliss in the bottom of the 7th inning. The St. Louis Cardinals with 4 runs in the 2nd, 1 run in the 5th, on top 5-0.
The Braves must get on the board in this inning to really get their confidences back, and Washington's got to get on.
They very well may. Let's face it. They caught, again, the fight, World Featherweight Championship. Eusebio Pedrosa against Bernard Taylor. I was telling you about Taylor. That kid was one of the proudest kids in the world when he fought on the U.S. team against the Cubans in his hometown of Charlotte a few years back. Stan the Man. The statue out in front of the stadium, the familiar corkscrew batting stance, always smiling.
Joaquin Andujar.
Great hitter, Stan Musial.
Never seen Maris so happy either, Al. He came up to visit us in the booth before the game started.
He and Paul Wiggin have the same hairstylist.
He's in terrific shape. He really is.
A strike here, and the count is 0-2. Joaquin Andujar has allowed 2 hits. Lowest team batting average, the Twins back in 69, losing to the Orioles, and then the Reds in 73. Knuckled under to the Mets. Seaver, Matlack, and Kuzman in that series, hitting 186. 0-2 pitches outside, 1-2 the count.
Tell you, who's been a big, important out man to keep the Braves within the 5 runs. They pitched George Hendrick very well the last 2 times out. And he became the key out man.
With big men on base.
1-2 pitch is hit into right field for a base hit. So Claudel gets aboard. And let's see if the Braves can get anything going.
This is what the Braves need right now. They got to get this club going. They're only 5 runs down. You have 3 full innings to go after them. And you're in a ballpark where you can pick up runs very quickly.
We saw Chief Nakahoma looking around here. I guess they've removed his tent again. They had a situation earlier this season. They were drawing such big crowds, they took his tent away.
Whitey's not waiting. Bullpen action coming right away.
Bob Horner at the plate. It's a chopper to the right side, and nobody's there with a shift. Base hit into right center, and Washington moves to third. And Washington was lame coming into third base. Looks like a hamstring. As he rounded second, Claudel is injured, and Torrey is out to see him. But the Braves have runners at first and third, and nobody out in the bottom of the 7th inning. So the trainer, Dave Fursley, and manager Joe Torre to check out Washington, who came gimping into third. We have him isolated, and we can see where happened on the replay. A chopper. Herr was playing up the middle at second base for the pull hitter. Ball chopped to the right side and through as Cordell looks at it. Round second.
Looked like it was right there before he hit
right
second
there.
base.
Right there, yep.
Before he hit second base is when he did it.
Now Horner again, you can see Herr in the bottom left-hand portion of your screen. He's the second baseman. There he is. Playing slightly on the left field side of second base. Because you don't figure Horner's going to hit it in that direction. So runners at first and third, but right now the Braves concerned about the condition of Washington.
Suddenly, swiftly, the very point we were making. Cardinals failing to apply the crusher. There's the St. Louis bullpen. Bear on the left and Jim Cott on the right. And one big blow now, and we've got a ball game.
Meanwhile, we're probably looking at a pinch running situation here. Injury of that nature normally necessitates the removal from the game, and that will be the case with Cordell Washington. So Washington, the number 3 hitter, the right fielder, and the man who got things started in the inning, comes limping off with nobody out in the 7th. Torrey just now walking back to the bench, and Joe will indicate in a moment exactly who he wants to come in to run for him. The hand for Washington as he goes into the dugout. And standing at third base in your picture right now is the coach, Dal Maxwell, as Bob Watson assists Cordell into the dugout.
They call upon Rufino Linares. He's been playing a lot outfield for the ball club.
They've already used Wisington as a pinch hitter.
It'll be either Linares or Butler.
Brett Butler.
Yeah, Butler.
ABC News Weekend Report coming up. And out of the dugout comes number 19, Terry Harper, who spent part of the season in the minors and was playing regularly down the stretch. He was playing regularly in left field. When Horner was hurt, they moved Royster into third, and Harper went down the stretch in left. And as a matter of fact, Thomas, if I'm not mistaken, hit one out in your park the last week.
That's right. And then went into San Diego and hit another home run. Had not hit a home run all year, and hit a good pitch off of Fernando Valenzuela in Dodger Stadium, and then went down into San Diego and hit another big home run down there.
Chris Chambliss with runners at first and third and nobody out, goes after the first pitch and doesn't get it.
You have to have some action right here from Chambliss and Murphy to keep this inning going.
Audrey's confident. Grounded to the right side. Herr stays with it to Smith, 1, and turns it over 4-2. They give up a run, but they avoid the big inning. Coming in to score Harper, the infield double play depth. Naturally, you lead by 5. You're looking for outs, and they get 2.
You see that Ozzie Smith get rid of that ball when it was fed to him by Herr?
Right.
Just watch how quickly he unloads the ball.
And he's really out of sync there, too, and yet he's still able to get it a lot on the throw.
Balance on the bag itself, and he got enough on it.
So 2 down with the bases empty. It's 5-1. And 0-1 is the count on Murphy.
3 double plays have really helped Andujar.
Liner to right. Here comes Hendrick again, but this time has to play it on a bounce. So the double play looms even larger now as Murphy collects his second hit of the night and his third hit in the series. Glenn Hubbard is the batter.
I think that's Mr. Suter.
Yes, the bearded one just went to the bullpen. And Bear and Koch sit down. As soon as Suter gets down there, everybody else sits down. There he is. Hubbard has struck out twice tonight, and Andujar throws one into dirt. Bouncing to the screen as Murphy goes to second.
Base hit right now will really help the Braves.
Andujar, sharp through 6. Appeared as if his leg wasn't bothering him at all. Remember, he took that shot off his shin in the second inning. As you can see, though, he has a tendency to lose it late. So he's according to form tonight, very much on schedule. A base hit, and that will score, or will it? Because Murphy falls down, then the throw is a rainbow, and he scores anyway.
McGee made a bad play right there trying to throw that ball home. But he could have allowed Hubbard to go to second base on that high throw over the cutoff man's head.
But Hubbard didn't, and here he is. As Murphy rounds third, if he's upright, he scores easily, no problem. Okay. But he goes down, and McGee threw a rainbow into home plate. Murphy is able to scramble to his feet and come in anyway, and Herzog goes to the mound.
And it is now Bruce Suter time.
So Whitey calling in the ace. 5-2 in the 7th. We'll be right back.
All right, children. Who's going to be the first one to recite the alphabet? How about you, Ann?
A, B, C, D, E, F, E, F, E, F, Hudson. When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
Mr. McEnroe, that's a very close shave.
You must be joking! That ball was in!
No, Mr. McEnroe, your shave. It's very close.
Of course! I shave with Bic.
You earn millions and shave with a 20-cent Bic?
Look, why pay more for fancy handles and tricky tops when I get lots of close shaves with Bic?
Advantage McEnroe.
He's right. I don't have to shave with a 20-cent Bic. But I do.
If your confidence has suffered a shock.
We install it at Sears.
Right now, get Sears heavy-duty shocks. They're on sale for only $8.88 each, installed. And save 25% on Sears SuperGuard steel-belted radials with a limited warranty for 40,000 miles.
At Sears Tire and Auto Centers, we give you more than a good deal. We install confidence. You can count on Sears.
Bruce Benedict is the batter. 2 out in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Bruce Suter came out of the pen to win last night in St. Louis. Throws a strike, and the count is 0-1. Runner at first base, Hubbard, with 2 down. Last night, Suter faced 5 men, retired 5 men. No chance for Benedict, and the count is 0-2.
Suter's going to throw his bread and butter pitch. He throws that split finger fastball, and that's the one he's going to throw when he's ahead, and that's the pitch that has made him one of the top relief pitchers in baseball. The split finger fastball reacts the same as a forkball or a knuckleball. As it gets to the plate, it has this sudden drop to it with the same effect, and that's why it's so difficult to hit. It's a tough pitch to master. He's the only one that has done it. He's the only one that throws the pitch and throws it with the regularity that he does.
Count stays 0-2. Have scored twice here in the 7th, and only twice because of the double play. Oh, 2 pitch.
See how that ball? That's a tough pitch to lay off of with 2 strikes. That ball reacted just like a knuckleball. A slight spread between his 2 fingers. There it is.
In the air, center field. Here comes McGee, and so Suter works out of it. In the inning, Atlanta with 2 runs, 4 hits, leave 1. Cards come up, top of the 8th. It's St. Louis 5, Atlanta 2.
Some places have so many specialties, nothing special.
Which is the fish and which is the chicken?
They look the same.
Hold it up to my eyes, I can't tell. Enjoy your meal.
At Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Enjoy your meal.
we don't try to do everything. We concentrate on chicken made the Colonel's special way and cooked up fresh all through the day.
Now this is special.
No doubt about it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Ryder knows the newer the rental truck, the more you can save. Save headaches, save money on fuel. So every year, Ryder buys lots of new trucks for you to rent and lease. Now, if you, through some wild chance, can guess the number of new trucks Ryder bought last year, we'll give you $1 next time you rent a Ryder truck. Rent a Ryder truck.
12,208.
Save a buck.
12,208.
Tuesday, a wedding cake murder leaves Jonathan riding the edge on Heart to Heart.
I'm late.
Bye. We know little things going wrong can be a big nuisance when you travel. That's why at American Airlines,
we spend over $1 million a day making sure everything goes right. From important inspections out here
To making sure everything works in here.
Thanks.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Action News Update follows baseball playoffs.
It was quite evident it was a hamstring pull. That is the case, and it's also serious enough so that if we go to a 4th game tomorrow, it looks like Washington would miss that one. 8th inning, Ozzie Smith trying to butt his way aboard. Benedict out to glove it and doesn't get him. And Ozzie, who can fly like McGee, is safe at first base.
Advantage of that guy getting on again. Now you got the pitcher coming up who will sacrifice.
That's 3 hits tonight for Ozzie Smith to go with a walk and a perfect night.
As I pointed out the other day, a lot of people seem to think that when you have a guy hitting 8th, he's the worst hitter on the club. That isn't so. The 8th place hitter is a very, very important hitter in the lineup.
Benedict making a decent play there, but the speed of Smith made all the difference. Bruce Suter, a strike, and the count is 0-1.
Suter missed that ball because he pushed the bat out after the ball rather than letting the ball coming to the bat.
Gets this one down, and Mailer will go to second on a hop and does get him. Dug out by Ramirez. So they get the 4th. Keep Smith from advancing, and Suter is now at first base with 1 out.
It's a very good exchange, taking Ozzie Smith off the base and putting Suter on.
And credit Ramirez on the low throw by Mailer, able to stay on the bag, get out of the way, and cradle it coming in. 1 out. Tom Herr, a double in 4 trips.
It's no different in any sport, Tommy. Every game becomes a game of missed opportunities. And now the Cardinals have to look back because they're involved in a game when they could have scored 8 or 9 runs and blew it.
Fouled away, 1-1. But they still have a 3-run lead, and they still have Bruce Sutter on the mound. That's incredible. All knew that's incredible, beginning Monday and then starting over. Burt Reynolds, Candace Bergen, Jill Clayburgh on the Monday Night Movie.
For the benefit of the youngsters watching, when you sacrifice, you must make the first baseman field the ball.
To left field, Royster. 2 down. Oberkfell, the batter. Oberkfell 1 for 4. Last night's hero.
If this series ends with a Cardinal victory, whom would you vote for MVP?
As of right now?
As of right now.
Porter.
And you, Al?
I'd make it a threesome.
Porter, unanimous.
1-1 pitch is outside. 2-1. There he is. Darryl Porter. Oberkfell had the big hit last night, forced through the shutout in Game 1. Sutter with a victory and a possible save. In for a strike. 2-2. Second base, never had the ball. Types of errors that he is prone to make right here. Made 38 of them during the season. Makes a lot of tough plays and has missed a lot of easy ones. He's right there. He's on the bag. Didn't look the ball into his glove.
It looked like he closed his glove before the ball hit it.
It's the first error of the night. First error by Atlanta in the series. Smith. 1-1.
There you have a difficult situation now. You have Sutter on second base. The guy gets a base hit. There could be a play at home where there possibly could be a collision. So Chuck Hiller is going to be very, very careful when he brings this guy around.
2-1 the count.
Things the manager thinks about. There is Raphael.
Two-1 to Lonnie Smith. His line to right field toward the corner. Foul ball. Into the Brave pen is Petrosian, flipping it over the fence. Whitey Herzog, his club, 6 outs away from the National League pennant. Stadium quiet for now.
Sutter having a little stint out there.
Mailer's 2-2 pitch. Grounded toward the hole. Backhanded by Ramirez, but Horner was off the bag. Bob was going for it. So nobody's at third. And Raphael has to eat it. Infield single, and the bases are loaded for Keith Hernandez. So So after the Braves get 2, the Cardinals right now trying to blow them out again.
And here comes Joe. As you look at it,
there's a situation where the pitcher is the first hitter next inning.
He's got Bedrosian in the pen. He wants him. Now, if he wants Bedrosian to also work the 9th inning, he'll have to make a double switch, but he eschews that for the moment. And we'll take a break here with a score 5-2 Cards in the 8th.
Every morning, whether I'm here in Latrobe or on the road, I'm out there making sure all the parts are working. Nobody has to sell me on keeping in shape. I guess that's why I've always been sold on Pennzoil protection. Pennzoil helps keep the equipment in shape. And believe me, I'm a guy who believes in taking care of the old equipment.
Pennzoil. Quality protection. Ask for it.
Comtrex relieves the whole cold.
Tristan didn't relieve my cough.
But Comtrex relieves the whole cold.
Contact didn't do anything for my aches, pains, and fever.
But Comtrex relieves the whole cold.
Bear didn't help my nasal congestion, runny nose, or coughing.
But Comtrex relieves the whole cold. That means Comtrex works on nasal and sinus congestion, runny nose, sneezing, coughing, watery eyes, sore throat, nasal drip, headache, fever, pain, every major cold symptom. Comtrex, it relieves the whole cold.
Do you know me? With this hat, I'm recognized as a gourmet cook. With this hat, I'm recognized as a long ball hitter. Without a hat, I guess I'm just another adorable redhead. So, I carry the American Express card. With this, I'm treated like an MVP, a most valuable person.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
You have seen many great fights on ABC. Now the WBA World Featherweight Championship. The champion, Eusebio Pedrosa, his 15th title defense. The challenger, undefeated American Bernard Taylor, highly ranked and highly motivated to win Pedrosa's crown. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Cardinals on top 5-2. They got 4 runs in the 2nd inning. Willie McGee, a 2-run triple. Highlighting that rally. Added another run. Hernandez, an RBI single in the 5th. And then Atlanta silent until the 7th inning. 1 run scored on a double play. And then Murphy, a base hit to second on a wild pitch and scored on a single by Hubbard.
That easy error by Ramirez has caused all of this. See if the Cardinals capitalize on it.
Bases loaded. Keith Hernandez, the batter. And the count is 0-1. Steve Bedrosian on in relief. Bruce Sutter at third. Kenny Oberkfeld. Lonnie Smith. Cards by 3 in the 8th. Bedrosian, the 5th Atlanta pitcher. 1-1 the count. Bedrosian pitched in game 1 and was touched up in the middle of a 5-run 6th inning rally for the Cards. Fouled back, 1-2, hard thrower. And he and Gene Garber forming the tandem in the bullpen as you look at Sue Hernandez, Keith's wife. The bullpen tandem that very much figured in Atlanta winning the West this year. 11 saves for Bedrosian and 30 for Garber. Now Hernandez backing away with the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Out of play.
He's got a good fastball. He relies on a good fastball and a hard slider.
I still don't understand why Joe Torre didn't make the double switch that would have enabled Bedrosian to stay in the game.
Well, the guy that's going to hit probably the next inning is Biff Pocorobo, and having been a catcher, Benedict made the last out, and the pitcher's the first hitter up.
2-2 the count. What that means, of course, is that Bedrosian can face the Cardinals only in the 8th. Is they're going to hit for him to start the bottom of the 8th inning.
Of course, if Hernandez gets a hit, everything's academic.
They appeal at third, and strike 3 is called at third base by Paul Runge. Hernandez is furious, firing his bat back toward the dugout. So they call him out on strikes from third with the bases loaded in the 8th inning. Harry Wendelstedt stepping in between. Sood like to have a word with Runge, too.
Yeah, he's a mild-mannered guy on balance. This time he is irritated. But the plain fact is that it's another big scoring opportunity that the Cardinals didn't capitalize on. And
see if he swung at it.
All right, look at it again. And so Atlanta is in the ball game.
Bruce Sutter. Working here.
I spoke with Bruce, talked to him about a split finger fastball. Here was our talk. How in the world did you develop that split finger pitch?
Well, it was kind of crazy. I had an elbow operation, and when I came back, I couldn't throw as hard, and I was afraid to throw the slider, the curveball, twist my elbow. So Freddie Martin was the pitching coach in the minor leagues for the Cubs. Showed me this pitch, and a pitch that I don't have to twist my elbow, and it's easy on my arm, and it just kind of came pretty easy to me.
And the ball acts like it's falling off the table.
Well, I guess the closest thing to compare it to would be a spitball, where it comes in and it looks like a fastball. It really doesn't have any definite spin that the other pitches have, and it'll drop right down at the last second.
Now, Bruce, this Atlanta club, oddly, is the one club, despite your easygoing attitude, that you seem to have had trouble with. You're aware of this.
Well, right, but I mean, when I was pitching against Atlanta Braves, I was going through a 3-week period where I really wasn't getting anybody out. The Mets pinned 2 losses on me in 2 days. The Braves hit me hard. I was just going through one of those periods of time. But since then, I've made a few adjustments, straightened things out. And I think they'll see a lot different Bruce Sutter today.
And tomorrow and the next day. Bruce Sutter protecting a 3-run St. Louis cushion. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, Brett Butler comes up to pinch hit for Bedrosian. He played last night. He was the man who almost made the catch on Oberfeld's drive in the 9th inning. Butler, a big disappointment this year after starting the season in the starting lineup. Batted just .217 in 89 games. Drove in 7 runs this season and did not have 1 RBI after April 16th.
All right, all that said and done, it's easy to sit up here and second guess. But I still don't understand, as you look at a swinging strike, why Joe Torre didn't make the double switch. Now what he's got left in the bullpen is Garber, admittedly coming off a great season. But should he have to lift Garber, then he has to go to a pitcher much inferior on the record to Bedrosian.
Butler tries to bunt his way on and can't. 0-2. When Garber comes in the 9th inning, he'll be the 6th pitcher on a 9-man staff. The only other pitchers he would have left would be Tommy Box, who would have started the other night, Phil Niekro, who pitched last night, and Bob Walk, who was up and throwing earlier. No balls, 2 strikes on Butler. They'll be followed by Ramirez and Royster in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bruce Sutter, the kind of pitcher, if you just tune into a ball game and he's the first man you see on your screen, you think he's working with men on base. But that's not the case. He always works out of that stretch position, even with nobody on. Just more comfortable that way.
Easy-going fellow, big sense of humor, enormous self-confidence. When you've had his success, you can understand that.
Just got a piece of it.
Butler has great running speed. If he taps the ball, he can beat it out.
Certainly was.
Tommy Herc quietly and efficiently doing the job. That was a pretty good play he made also in the 7th inning on that double play. Not spectacular, but he could have gotten caught in between hops, and he started the DP. And here he has only one chance. He can't short hop that one and get Butler with his speed. And he gets him here. One out. Ramirez takes a strike. Two. That's
Turner. If the Braves should lose this, he'll get busy with a new business tomorrow. He's got about 11 businesses going.
This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. One out, bases empty, bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals 5, Braves 2. And the 0-2 pitch is grounded to the right side. Perfectly positioned for this one. Tommy throws him out. And there are 2 down in the 8th inning with Jerry Royster coming up.
What was it you said, Tom? Suda should be declared illegal?
I'll tell you, he pitched in 3 All-Star games for me, and I'll say one thing. Every time he's gone out there, he has just been so successful. He is really tough to hit.
It's the first time in Suda's career that he's been involved in a championship series.
Look at that pitch.
0-1.
Did you see that fall down? Whoa. Gibby and Joe Torre. Watch this now. Watch.
Like the bottom fell out of it.
So hard to lay off it, too.
That's what's tough. Looks like it's going to be in the strike zone. He holds the ball with the seams.
Got it sharply down to short. Look at Smith. Make it look so easy. Just stayed with the hop. And throws him out. So the Cardinals are 3 outs away from beginning things with the Brewers on Tuesday. It's 5-2 going to the 9th.
Soup is a harvest of love. Oh, Joe, you don't.
Hey, that's great perfume.
That's Campbell's Bean with Bacon Soup, boys, good. How are you?
I drove 7 states in 2 days. I'm tired. I'm starved.
Oh, come on, sit down. Kitchen still open?
That Campbell's Bean with Bacon Soup has more vitamin A per calorie than whole milk.
Feel better?
A lot better than I did 3 states ago.
The Campbell's soup is good food. Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. You've got the time, we've got the beer, for what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time, yours and mine.
The best beer for the best time of the day. Miller High Life.
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Tom Lasorda at Atlanta Stadium. As we go to the 9th inning, the St. Louis Cardinals on top 5-2, and Gene Garber, the losing pitcher last night, becomes the 6th pitcher utilized by Joe Torre in game number 3. He'll face Porter, Hendrick, and McGee here in the top of the ninth inning. And then when the Braves come up in the bottom of the ninth inning, 3, 4, and 5 hitters, and the 3 spot is occupied by Terry Harper because of the injury to Claudell Washington. So it's Harper, Horner, and Chambliss against Suter. 52,173. The crowd tonight in Atlanta as Darryl Porter leads things off.
Even that's deceptive. 5 for 8, I mean. Look at the 5 walks. He's been on base 10 times and 13 trips to the plate.
Look at that average. Look at that batting average.
And 5 of the hits, of the 5 hits, 3 of them have been doubles. Braves, of course, a club that reached the playoffs on the strength of basically a lot of power, and they have only 1 extra base hit in the 3 games. That by Bruce Benedict, a double last night. Porter takes outside, ball 1. 1-0.
Does Garber give you a lot of motion, huh, Timmy?
Very deceptive. He hides the ball very well, turns the back. Watch how he turns that back to the hitter.
1-1.
He doesn't have the velocity that he once had, but he makes it up in good control. He keeps the ball down. He sinks the ball and has come up with a very good changeup. He's been the bread and butter man for Joe Torre this year. He's been a very, very successful relief pitcher.
30 saves for Garber. And he's ahead now, 1-2.
Here you see Garber's motion. As he starts, he pivots, turns his back to it. You still can't see the ball. You still can't see the ball. Right now is when you start picking up the ball.
Porter on this hot and sticky night with the insects in abundance.
He's had some good cuts up there. There's that changeup I was telling you about right there.
So Garber strikes out the first man he faces. Porter is gone. Again, the off-speed pitch. Tails away from him, too. Down he goes. George Hendrick, 1 for 4 tonight, drove in the first run of the game in the second inning. Popped up. Horner coming down and makes the catch. 2 down now in the ninth inning. And up comes Willie McGee, who had a 2-run triple in the second, 1 for 4 tonight. 3 hits in the series.
In case you're wondering who's hitting in the ninth for the Braves, it'll be Harper hitting in the place of Washington, Horner, and Chambliss.
Cardinals currently hitting .327. The Yankees last year against the A's hit .336 for the record. 1-0 on McGee.
Last year?
81.
The Yankees?
The Yankees
played the Brewers.
Played the Brewers in the mini-series, and then the A's in the American League Championship Series.
That's right, we had the split season.
That's right, the A's beat Kansas City and then lost to the Yanks as it's driven to deep right field and gone. Willie McGee.
Well, that goes to show you the first pitch just knocked him down. Garber played a little bit of chin music with him, and he got up off the deck and hit one out. Might have woke him up.
So Willie McGee, a home run to go with the pair of triples he has in the playoffs, and the Cardinals are on top by a score of 6-2. The first home run in the 3 games. And here in the launching pad, it's gone. At Busch Stadium, it's on the warning track.
What a big run.
Awful big.
1-0 the count. And for a strike, and the count is 1-1.
Tell you, this guy, he's had a big series. Marvelous fielding performance throughout the series.
Perfect night tonight. 3 singles and a walk and a strike here, and the count is 1-2.
Ozzie could well be considered for the MVP.
He's a fantastic ball player. This guy can really cut the run production down of the opposing team with his glove.
2-2 the count. In the air to left center field, and Murphy lopes over to make the catch. But in the inning, a run on McGee's homer. And at the end of 8 1/2, it's 6-2 St. Louis.
ABC Sports, it has been a year to remember. In May, long-shot Gato del Sol overcame poor post position to win the Kentucky Derby. Then in the Preakness Stakes, another long-shot cowboy Jack Cannell became the youngest jockey ever to win a Triple Crown event. Controversy in the Indianapolis 500 began before the race with this spectacular melee. In the end, the closest finish ever in Indy history. In the U.S. Open, Tom Watson pulled away from Jack Nicklaus with this miracle shot on 17, giving Watson his first Open title. Watson continued his phenomenal hot streak, winning his 4th British Open. Then in the PGA Championship, veteran Ray Floyd won in record-breaking style. In June, we brought you the fight of the year with WBC World Heavyweight Champion Larry Holmes defeating gutsy Jerry Cooney. And in July, the National League won its 11th straight in the All-Star Game. ABC's Wide World of Sports continued its tradition of excellence. Last winter, we saw Americans Elaine Zayak and Scott Hamilton clinch World Figure Skating Championships. And American skiers had their best season ever, winning 3 world titles. We witnessed one of the most emotional and unforgettable finishes ever in the World Ironman Endurance Triathlon. We brought you the World Cup soccer final live for the first time ever on American network television. And we saw America's smallest sluggers upset mighty Taiwan in the Little League World Series. All this and more to come from the most acclaimed production team in television sports. ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.
Bottom of the 9th inning, and Atlanta down by 4. The Cardinals on the verge of the National League pennant. Terry Harper to lead things off for the Braves, and looks at a strike, and the count is 0-1. Terry Harper, his regular season figures there, batting for the first time in the playoffs. Came in for the injured Washington, and the count is 0-2. St. Louis 3 outs away from their first World Series appearance since 1968. When it was the Cardinals and the Tigers. 1-2 the count. Pitch to Terry Harper is a chopper to short. Ozzie Smith over to Hernandez. 1 away in the 9th inning.
There's a great man. And you just saw Jamie Sutter. I wonder how often people realize as you look at her again, play upon nerves that baseball wives go through.
Well, you have to give them a lot of credit. They mean so much to their husbands because the tension and everyday struggle and trying to make it in the major leagues, they have to have that complete support and love from their family.
Bob Horner fouls it back, and the count is 0-1. 2 outs away from the Milwaukee St. Louis World Series. A lot of interesting subplots there. One, of course, Ted Simmons against his old mates. Squibber, fielded by Porter, throws to first for the out. So 2 away. Suter faced 5 men last night, retired them all. He has faced 6 tonight, retired them all.
What was it Yogi Berra said, the classical linguist? It isn't over till it's over. It is now all but over.
That second out will empty out the parking lot pretty good. There's a lot of them leaving.
Yogi never heard of Suter when he uttered that. 2 out. Bases empty. Chambliss at the plate. Takes a strike.
Chris had a tough series, no question about it. Usually the Rock of Gibraltar.
Inside. 1-1 the count.
In the meantime, these people have been given a great season by Joe Torre and the Atlanta Braves.
Well, I know it's going to be a very interesting series. Should the Cardinals win right here and the Milwaukee club, and I tell you, it's quite a thrill to be in that fall classic. And
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. St. Louis a strike away now.
Not a hit or walk off Bruce Suter. Graphic you just saw, telling the whole story.
The 1-2 pitch to Chambliss is inside, so the count is 2-2. If Chris can keep it going, Dale Murphy would be next. Two out, no one on, 6-2 Cards. And the 2-2 pitch is hit foul outside first by Sonny Jackson.
You know, you have to say something nice about the California Angels, who lost a very, very tough playoffs to the Milwaukee Brewers and also to the Atlanta Ball Club.
Coming up shortly, the ABC News Weekend Report. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. Inside, and the count is full. 3-2. Chambliss hits it in the air to left center field. And the St. Louis Cardinals have won the 1982 National League pennant.
And they did it with their pitching, and they did it with their speed, and they did it with bat manipulation the way they've done it all year long. A team torn apart and put together by that man, Whitey Herzog, cut in his own mold. And throughout this series, they have played Whitey ball.
The St. Louis Cardinals behind Forst in Game 1. And then last night, Oberkfell driving in the game-winning run of the ninth. And tonight it's Andujar and Suter. And 4 runs in the second. And they never look back. So the Cardinals on top through much of the early season. Fell out of first place in midsummer. The furthest behind they got this year, 3 games. Then came back and finished with a flourish down the stretch, clinching it with 6 days to go, and then blowing out Atlanta in straight sets. 6-12-0 for the Cards, 2-6-1 for the Western Division champion Atlanta Braves. Andujar the win, Suter the save, and Camp, who was gone in the second inning, the loser. There is Niekro,
43 years old. As we characterized him at the start, one of the most remarkable competitors in sport. And then the feeling of utter emptiness. As you see, a lonely figure. Darrell Porter, we have just learned, has been named the most valuable player of the National League Championship Playoff Series. The final one, Steve Bedrosian, and the face registered at ball.
And I suppose as an appropriate symbol for the Braves here in Atlanta, it's begun to rain, but too late. All right, let's go downstairs. Jim Lampley is there with Darrell Porter. Jim?
Thank you very much, Al. Here is the man who has been named the MVP in this playoff series, Darrell Porter. Darrell, it was a difficult year for you with the injury, but this is a great finishing touch for it, I'm sure.
That is really neat. I just don't know what to say. That's fantastic. It was really just a team effort, though, all the way. Everybody contributed at times. It's a great feeling.
Being in this kind of a playoff was not a new experience for you after Kansas City, but going to a World Series will be. Is this ranked now as your biggest thrill in baseball?
I think it was more fun this year because I was with a bunch of guys that had never won it before. Over there, everybody on that team had won it when I got there. And over here, hardly any of these guys have ever won it before, and it's just really exciting. I tell you, we're just real thrilled.
You struggled throughout much of the year at the plate and then came up with a real big offensive series here. What was it that turned it around for you during this week?
Well, I just try to go out and I try to put all of the playoff stuff out of my mind and just say, hey, you know, I'm just going to relax and I'm just going to try to have fun. We're either going to win this thing or we're going to lose it, but I ain't going to put any pressure on myself. I'm just going to go up there and relax.
All right, congratulations, Darryl. Here's the man who deserves so much of the credit, not only for managing the team to this victory, but also as the architect of this club. Coming out of spring training this year, after all the deals you've made in the last 2 years, were you convinced the pieces were in place?
I felt pretty good about the team, better than I've ever felt going out of spring training. I thought that we'd have a good ball club. We had a good ball club last year, and I thought we were better. I thought with the two Smith boys and the fact that our pitching was a little bit better, and then we had some rookies come through for it.
I know you want to celebrate this victory, but if it's not impolite to ask a little bit about a team you know a great deal about, the Milwaukee Brewers, this will be a contrasting series, your speed and defense against their power.
They got some kind of power, and you got to give them credit. They had their backs against the wall, and they came back and won 3 in a row, and it shows how good they are. And the Angels played pretty good, too. It was a good ball game today, but I tell you, I'm an awful good friend of Gene Autry's, and I worked for Harry Dalton. He's a good friend. I had kind of mixed emotions about that thing today, but somebody had to win.
I'll ask you the same question I asked Darryl. You've been in this kind of a playoff before as a manager, but as a manager, being in a World Series will be a new experience for you. Does this now rank as your biggest thrill as a manager?
Well, it has to be. I was close so many times. The first 2 times we were in the playoffs with the Yankees, we got beaten in the last the 9th inning and the 5th game, and to get that close and then finally make it is a thrill to me.
Whitey, congratulations to you and every man in this locker room. Now let's go back up to Al Michaels.
Thank you, Jim. The St. Louis Cardinals, the National League champs. So thanks to Alan Ross, statistics, Steve Hurd for the graphics, Al Michaels, Howard Cosell, Tom Lasorda. Our congratulations to the St. Louis Cardinals out of the World Series to face the Milwaukee Brewers. Final score 6-2 Cards. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what Friendly Skies are all about. Coverage of the National League Championship Series has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.